Hello, I'm back to play some more Islanders New Shores. Last time I was here, I finished the No Time to Dilly Dally challenge and got the record on it. This time around, I'm going to be going to one of the newer challenges, Industrious, and I'm going to be trying to beat 132 score. This this is hard to do. Out of like, I think I've played this challenge like 7 or 8 times off of camera, maybe once on. I might not have posted the video. I have not been able to find a line that can get any more than 4,400 points. Well, like the theoretical maximum that like my napkin math has shown is like 4,430 points, which gives me like only 100 points of wiggle room on anything. That means that every tree that spawns naturally, every fish that spawns naturally is going to be worth it. So this challenge is going to be a lot of resetting at the beginning to get a good island. Now, the napkin math that I've done is for something that I'm going to call the grassy order. That means that I'm going to be starting with my wheat fields and my hop fields and using a pyre to bounce the wisp around. But I could alternatively play all of my other buildings first and end off on fields, which I'm going to call the aquatic order, because I'd start with like my docks and my harbors, go to my seaweed farms, back onto a market, and then play my masons into a warehouse, into my mills. That order, I think, could grant me more points, but I don't have as much practice with it yet. So I'm going to be taking on this Industrious challenge, trying to do the grassy order, and if it doesn't work out, then I'm going to play the aquatic order. We've got to take some time, though, and figure out, like, what island would be good for a grassy one. So I had previously tried playing verdures around statues to be able to capitalize on the extra 4 points that verdures give, and that they're basically like free buildings that you can place down. But the trees over here, I think just having more trees in an area is what matters more, especially if I could get a verdure down here that spawns all of the trees, because there's no flowers here. Any of the lumberjacks that go down are going to be scoring a lot more points. Now, I don't know if these are good or bad lumberjacks, so I want to try getting lumberjacks away from the statue so that I have more area to place all of my wheat fields and my hop fields as close to the statue as I can to get most of them hitting them. And I might lose out on the lumberjacks and the verdures getting the 4 points from this, but I might recoup that amount because all of my hop fields will be able to tag my statue instead of just some of them. So like this statue over here is pretty good because we've got enough space around it for all 20 of my wheat fields to take it. There's enough space on this side to play wheat fields, and then this is infinite space, right? Or like as much space as the wheat fields would ever take up. And then I would be able to play hop fields further away from like, okay, so let me just place some example buildings down. I place down all of my wheat fields around my statue, and they're going to come out roughly this far, I think, from the statue. Okay, that's a bit too far. Let's go there. Okay. So with my wheat field placed like this, I would get these last 5 in range of the statue. I know that it's possible. The hop fields would then come in afterwards, and they wouldn't have to worry about wherever my, lumberjacks or sawmills are going to go, because for my lumberjacks to get the majority of the trees, because I'm placing verdures in this area to get them on top of the statue, that also means that the lumberjack is going to have to go in the center here. But then that stops me from getting good wheat field placements or good hop field placements. See? Like if I were to place a hop field like this, placing 2 lumberjacks here gets rid of one of my hop field spaces, which isn't that bad, but then also my sawmills don't get to capitalize off of hitting every single one of my lumberjacks. So the plan is to place as many verdures as I can on the other set of islands to place all of my lumberjacks within. Any verdures that don't spawn literally every single tree, I'm going to use for fish instead. I guess I could like maybe take a 14-point verdure, but I'll place them for fish instead because the fish will score off of docks. I think that, yeah, harbors as well, and the fishers. And I think that's enough to be able to recoup the points lost from all of the, like, the trees that aren't going to be tagged by the lumberjacks. I do also want to keep in mind that, where's Precious? Precious has more trees to tag, if I were to not cover them up with a bunch of wheat fields and hop fields. So this does earn me slightly more points, and that is something that I took into consideration when I'm like trying to determine whether or not it's like viable to place another set of trees or another set of fish. I think the math works out for them to be like almost like exactly equivalent if I don't take into consideration the precious pyre. So that's why I say like one less tree here is fine, because the precious pyre will help me recoup a small amount of those points, and it is harder to tag all of the fish with every single one of my fishers, every single one of my docks, and my harbor without running like bulldozing any of them. I mean, it is also going to be hard to get every lumberjack to hit every tree that I place with verdure, but I think it's more likely that way around. Anyways, without that verdure being placed there, just that I have a feel for this lumberjack is worth 15 beforehand. And there's also a lot of space that like the verdure isn't going to be able to take up, so like at best, I'd probably get it here for 14 points with a bunch of verdures in this area. So if I reset and I see lumberjacks that are higher than 14, that's a better area. Or like that's a better island generation. And because I can't remember how many trees I should be hitting with my lumberjack, I want to take the time to figure it out. This statue looks good enough for wheat fields and hop fields to be around it. This looks like a more sparse area for trees, even. Okay, so there is enough for 16 right here in the middle, but you can also notice that there are 4 flowers in the middle, and that's going to be hard to play my trees around. So I think this is just going to be another reset. I would be happy to see lumberjacks at 18 points. The statue feels like it's a bit close to the wall. Let's see. Like it might be enough space. Let's see what the trees look like. That looks like a really good set of trees. Hold on. Okay, I could even get 20 at max, and I could have 2 sets of lumberjacks. The problem with 2 sets of lumberjacks is that when my pyres are trying to tag each other, it would be nice to have my lumberjacks all in one clump so that I don't have to worry about like my pyres hitting both sets of them. Pyres have such a large range that probably isn't going to matter. What is going to matter more is that I want to place 3 sawmills around all of my lumberjacks. So like, let's say, I'm going to undo this building. All of my lumberjacks are centered around this one guy. I can place a sawmill down here, a sawmill up here out of this sawmill's range, and a sawmill over here out of the other 2 sawmills range. And all of these sawmills are going to be getting 35 points, because 7 times 5. Now, with all of my lumberjacks placed here, how do I get this order down again? Before I would place all of my verdures, and then I would place my wisp onto my statue, and then I would bounce the wisp onto all of my lumberjacks, I think. And then I would bounce it onto a nearby pyre, and then that pyre would be negatively scored with the wheat field to get the wisp onto there, and then I would play all of my wheat fields. So how this is going to go is I'm going to place all of my lumberjacks, one lumberjack, wisp, the first one, play my 4 other lumberjacks right beside where my first one went, and then I'm going to place a pyre all the way over here, so that it hits all of my lumberjacks, but is in range of either my hop or my wheat fields. I would prefer it to be the wheat fields first, because they're harder to place compared to the hop fields, like harder to know exactly how much space I need to take up. But with where this lumberjack is going to go, this pyre is not going to be in range of all of the lumberjacks unless it's all the way out here, which means I will have to start with like 1 hop field out in no man's land, and then another one over here to hopefully tag the statue and the other hop field at the same time, and then I play a clump of hop fields over here. Then to be able to get it to go onto all of my wheat fields, I go from hop field into, where is it? Brewery, right at the beginning. How did I miss that? Then for my brewery, back onto hop fields, I get rid of all 3 of my breweries and all of my hop fields, having my wisp land on a brewery by the very end. Then it goes on to a warehouse to be able to bounce from the brewery onto the warehouse, and then the mill down beside the warehouse gets enough point. No, I don't like that, because what is it? The mills need to come after all of the wheat fields to be able to capitalize off of their points. Because a mill is worth 95. I guess I could play a pyre in the area to be able to hit all of the It's going to hit all of the hop fields, but I can bounce it from a hop field directly to a wheat field, and I don't have to waste one of my mills. I could alternatively use a precious like wheat field to score off of a hop field to have the wisp bounce along it. How much is a precious pyre going to be worth? So here, after I place the verdures, I guess a precious one should probably go over here instead. Yeah, because I want it to be out of range of all of the wheat fields. With all of the trees that I place, there's like, I think 9 or so entities per verdure, whatever it is. I place 5 of those, that's 45, plus like maybe another 20 buildings that go down beside it. So this is going to be up to like 90 points by the end. Or like, I guess it's worth an extra 60 points. So a precious over here is worth 60 points. If I were to place a pyre over here, I'm not able to get the points by like making it be a large distance away from this pyre. Is there a way that I can start on the wheat fields instead? I mean, I could... Okay, so if I start with my wheat fields, then I bounce using a... like a wheat fields mill into a warehouse. I don't want to play a brewery early either because breweries are also worth like 90 points. It is worth more to like make sure that the wisp bounces onto the hop field, but I need to find a way to get it from wheat field to hop field nicely. I could always do a precious hop field. Let's see how much a precious hop field is going to be worth in this area. With all of the wheat fields that it's beside? Oh, because it's minus 15, right. And that minus 15 points is not going to be recouped. Well, it is going to be because of a bunch of wheat fields beside it, but like it's going to be like a net neutral. But it is earning me an extra 90 points on getting a good brewery placement later. And I don't have to use a warehouse to bounce from a mill to a brewery, or the other way around. So let's say that I do use a precious to be able to bounce the wisp how I like. It's all of my wheat fields into my mills, into a precious hop field to get the wisp. And then I play my breweries at the very end so that, what is it? It's like brewery, hop field, ending off on a brewery, and then I play a warehouse to then go into my masons, do all my sand pits, brickyards down below, end off on a mason so that I can bounce it onto a market like I've done before, and then my aquatic buildings from there, and then I guess I don't exactly care about my wisp. Well, no, I do, because I want it to get onto my lumberjacks. Then I would play a lighthouse to pull the wisp onto the lighthouse. Then I would play a range increased pyre to hopefully hit my other 2 pyres from very far away. Well, I guess... Okay. Have I even played any pyres yet? Not in this situation, no. And none of my lumberjacks are down yet, and I want to wait for my lumberjacks to be down before I place pyres. Do lumberjacks score off of pyres? They do. And they score 4 points, where these guys score 5. So what I'm thinking is I could put a pyre behind where the lumberjacks are going to go. Say, like, it's right here. And then I play 1 pyre here, and then maybe, like, a ranged increase 1 down here that picks up all of the lumberjacks, just barely takes this pyre, and just barely takes this one. I'm looking at the water from this perspective, but there's no good area to build all of my aquatic stuff down below. So I think I do it on this side, and there's no good area to build my aquatic stuff here. Maybe in the center right here to be able to pick up these fish on the docks and harbors, but there's not really a great seaweed farm spot. Like maybe around this, actually. I could find a way to manage, I think. There's not as much sand as I would like, but can't ask for perfection. Okay, so the line would be wheat fields into mills, precious, hop field, breweries, warehouse number 1, masons, all of my sand stuff, into a market, into my aquatic buildings, into seaweed farms and fields, into a lighthouse. That lighthouse then is going to be tagged by a pyre up here, so the lighthouse has to be like down here. Let me just double check that a lighthouse down here can be tagged by a pyre up top. Alright, so then this one comes right here. All of my lumberjacks go down, and then my other pyre would go here as number 1. Okay, so pyre number 1. But pyre number 2 is going to take minus 40 points from being beside all of the like plant matter, which I don't want to have happen. So it would be nicer for my 1 pyre to go back here. That would mean that a lighthouse would have to go down here, and that feels like it's getting to be, yeah, too far away from my seaweed farms and fields. If there's a way that I can get my pyres down first before any of my wheat fields, that would be worth more. And, like, okay, if I'm not using Precious, then I can play my wheat fields and my hop fields last. Like, I don't need to do them first. So then instead of starting my chain on, like, a warehouse into my sand area, I can just do my sand area from the get-go, do my pyre placements. Pyre number 1 would go here beside all of my lumberjacks. I would bounce the wisp from this pyre onto those 4 lumberjacks. And then my second pyre, I want my last pyre to be my ranged increased one, because this pyre right here, you see how it's worth 15 points? If I range increase and get it at the edge of this, it's worth 32 instead of the regular 15. So if I have 2 pyres down, then this is worth more. So then this pyre could be ranged increased and go all the way back here. I would just need to find another pyre that is in the range of this one and of the lumberjacks at the same time, which I think means it goes back here, but this is slightly too far away. What about over here? That's only worth 3 points. It's not as much as I would like. There's no way that this is ever going to be able to be, like, visible from the other pyre. So I would love for this location to work, which means that my other pyre would have to be moved up to around here. Let's say that we do this. This pyre then tags that one and all of the lumberjacks that are going to be in the center. And then we range increase our last one. So this one has been placed here. It's basically on this, like, the dividing line on the top section. And then this pyre here could be just barely in range of both of them being tucked into this back corner. It doesn't hit any of the lumberjacks, though. And that is minus, what is that, 25 points? Minus 25 points. So if I move it up some amount to be able to hit the lumberjacks, we take a minus 5 points on each pyre, maybe a bit more, but we hit the plus 20. Okay, and then from here, I could play it on all of my, or I play all of my hop fields, hoping that not too many of them are in range of this pyre, just like a couple of them are. I then play my breweries on them, ending off on a hop field, Precious into a wheat field then instead. Play all of my wheat fields, and then end off on my 3 mills. And then the warehouses, where would they be worth the most points? Do they get played at the end by my breweries and my mills? My mills are going to make it worth, if I hit all 3 of them, which is very unlikely, 21 points, and my breweries are an extra 5, so it's an extra 15. So let's say at max, I'm getting 14 points from my 2 mills, and I hit all 3 breweries. That's going to be worth maximum 30 points up there. If I play it down where the markets are, if I play it even before the market, that's worth an extra, I guess this is 13 points. If I play it after, it's 7. If I play it before, it's 20, difference of 13. But being beside all of my harbors, is it also like docks? Yeah, and I have 5 docks, 1 harbor. That's already the 30 points that I'm missing. So warehouses are just going to be better beside all of my masons, sand pits, and the like. So they never get played at the end. They get played earlier. I don't think masons are predicated on anything, except for markets and warehouses, but markets like tagging masons. Yep, even more so, and same thing with the warehouses, right? 100%. So we start the chain on masons, because brickyards also like masons a bit better. Yeah, okay. So we place all of our masons, we place some of our brickyards, bouncing the wisp back and forth between the sand pits as necessary, end off on, I think, yeah, I do need to have the wisp end off on 1 mason. So it's 4 masons, 1 brickyard, 2 sand pits, 1 brickyard, 3 sand pits, 1 brickyard, 1 mason. Back into a market. all of my aquatic buildings, my lighthouse, my pyre, my lumberjacks, my second pyre, my third pyre, my hop fields, my breweries, precious wheat field into all of my wheat fields into a mill. That's the line. Okay. To start off, though, I want to get my verdures out of the way. The reason being is I don't know if I have enough space for all of these verdures to be played perfectly up here, and if there isn't, I should play them for some fish down below for my aquatic buildings to be able to tag. So let's get going on that. And before I forget, we should undo that building. Okay. So this guy right here in the middle is 20 points. Is there anybody else that's worth roughly the same? Yes, if I play them back here, it's also the same amount. So I have wiggle room within basically anywhere in this open area, it feels. Even if I go low, I still get a lot more points than I'm assuming. Okay. So that means, where's the, like, bounding box of my lumberjacks? I don't want to place any trees beyond this flower, basically. Beyond this grave back here. Beyond anything on this edge. And then where on the left-hand side is the most? I don't want to place any trees beyond, like, these two, basically. So if I were to play a verdure in this area, we're looking for all of the trees, and we're looking to place our blossomed trees, the ones that are worth 3 points, the ones that have candles on them, to the outside, so that when I place verdures later, I only have to take like 1 -5 or no -5s if I'm really lucky. 14, we're missing 1 tree. Okay, this seems fine. I do want to tighten it up as close as I can, though. And then let's just make sure that the lumberjack hits all of those trees from this edge. So that means that we are now playing around, like, the bottom bounding box. And these verdures, let me just see how many trees they spawn in. 1, 2, 3, that's 9 points plus another 6. So they're spawning in 9 trees. So this lumberjack here that's worth 28 used to be worth 19. Yeah, I'm fine with that. It does feel like if I back it up some, I'll be able to hit more trees, but that might just be me. Okay. If I can find a 10-point tree setup down here, then I'll stick with my previous verdure. What tree am I missing? Okay, 1 more up top. That works. I don't know, it feels like the 2 trees in the bottom right are a bit too far away, but I will run with this. Then we would have 1 more verdure up here, and maybe just a single verdure for fish down below. I could alternatively play if this one squeaks in for 15 points. I don't think I could get it to happen. Okay, we'll wait for a different verdure setup then, over there. Play these 10. I guess I was playing the lumberjack quite low before, so it should tag the 2 trees on the bottom side. Yeah, this lumberjack is already looking much better than, like, my right... Well, not better yet, but will be equivalent to the ones that I put beside the statue, or even a little bit better, just because I have more natural tree spawns to bootstrap off of. We're looking for a 10-point verdure here, and the most I'm seeing is 6, which is rough. Can I get one up here and that is worth any amount? 8, but it's not taking any of the negatives, so that's losing too many trees. $11 could be it. I think I might have given myself too little space to work with. Okay, so this 11 is not spawning a regular tree, and it's not spawning a blooming tree. I think I should spawn fish instead of playing this one. I should look for a different placement. 12 is pretty massive, because this is actually 17 points. I'm spawning in, like, the secret flower, where I've got the 3 trees plus the one extra flower because it's on a cliffside. If I could do this outside of the range of the -5, that would be amazing, but I don't think that's possible. Yeah, no, just too many of the trees stop getting spawned in when I move too far forward. And I don't know how to make them spawn. This is worth 15 here. Okay. Do I want to play this 15 pointer? My lumberjacks would have to hit the trees down below. I'll try placing it and see if the lumberjacks get into range of those guys. If they don't, this isn't a play that I make. So they are in range, which is surprising, honestly. Can I get another 15 over here? Now it's too rough because there's too many trees on the inside. I'd love to play this for more trees, but I just don't think it's worth the points. I think I should undo that previous verdure, look for a verdure over here first, and then play this verdure down here second. So this one, I think I had one that was like worth 12. Oh, because it was spawning a flower down here, and that wouldn't be something that I want to do. I think that 15 might be the best verdure that I have. Okay, do I try twisting it in any direction? Is that going to help me out? No? Okay. Can I get the trees to spawn down below there? This might work. Spawning an extra flower, that's fine. It's not going to be detected by any other verdures, that's for sure. I had a 12 here at one point. I'll try to find it again. I can't remember which direction I had to move this thing in to get the last tree to spawn, though. Yeah, and rotating it just messes things up. So this 11 isn't spawning any new trees. Well, it is spawning one instead of a flower, which would be tagged by a lumberjack. But that is also going to be easier to be tagged by another verdure that I'd want to place here. Let's try going for... I'll grab the 11 here instead of the 12. No, the 11 was me spawning the tree, was it not? Oh, this works. This works great, actually. 16 points. So I'm missing out on one tree. But I'm not hitting any of my negatives, and these should be in range of where I'm placing the lumberjacks, right? Some of them are. Not all of them are, but the majority? Okay, let's see where the highest placed lumberjacks are. They're right here, missing most of the trees down there. I guess some of my lumberjacks over here will hit these trees, and then my lumberjacks, as they move here, will hit these trees instead of these ones. Like, they're mutually exclusive. But that's still fine, because they're getting tagged by some amount of the lumberjacks. I'll run with it. Now let's look for one to place in this area. So we have to remember that we're taking a -5 to do this. So this is spawning all but one tree somewhere. And that feels worth it to me. And then I have one verdure to play as a aquatic verdure. Sure. And then all of these trees, because they're higher up, should be tagged by these guys? Yes. The majority of them. I guess as I move down here to get these trees, I also get these ones, so it becomes more worthwhile. There's like a 48 that I saw in here somewhere. Okay, so it looks like I'm going to be playing around this area right here. Oh, 51. Wow. Okay. And it's before I get any wisp bounces onto them. So all of my lumberjacks are going to go down in this pocket. But I can't play any of them yet because I need my wisps to bounce on all of my lumberjacks, which I need one of my pyres to be in range of one of the lumberjacks that's going to be in this chain. And because my lumberjacks are going here and one of my pyres is like along this edge, yeah, they're definitely in range of each other. That's fine. And then this pyre here is definitely going to be in range of one of the lighthouses here. Previously, I duplicated... I think I've got 2 duplications, right? Bargain and a duplicate. Okay, so that means that I can play 2 of any extra building that I want to. The buildings that I saw like be worthwhile before were lighthouses and maybe a pyre or no, it was mills, breweries, or lighthouses. I don't know if I'm going to have 2 locations for lighthouses. This one over here seems like it could be in range of like all of my docks and harbors and stuff and be out of range of this lighthouse over here, but it's never something that I can like, okay, yeah, this would be out of range. It's just rough because this is taking up seaweed farm area. You know, I want my seaweed farms to all be hit here, and it's, well, I guess I can account for that if I want to. So if I want to play 2 lighthouses, I have the opportunity to. Worst comes to worst, because these are going to be my last buildings to place, the breweries and the mills. I can end up duplicating one of them without having to bargain one of them, so I don't have to play 2 duplications on the same building. I can play a duplication on a mill and a bargain on a brewery, or vice versa, to get them done. I guess I could Blossom now. There's not going to be a better time for it. The Blossom is a crisp 82. Can we get more than that? Want to see if taking these 2 trees up top is worth it. Oh, I can only take one of the trees because the other one has candles on it. $84. I'm not going to get better than that. Let's grab it. Okay, another thing I should consider. Sustainables. Where are they worth the most? I'm using 2 on seaweed farms, obviously. That leaves me with 3 and a neighborly. The neighborly could be used on brewery for 20 points. It could be used if I have a really good lighthouse position. It could be used for 40 points there. Anywhere else? I mean, maybe a market, but I'd have to spend a duplication, and yeah, that's not going to be worth it. I think one of the neighborlies goes on to the seaweed farms, and then I have a sustainable on the other one, which means that I have 4 other sustainables to use. At best, we get a fisher that's worth an extra 40 points because I place it in the center of the other 4. 44 points, I guess. With a sustainable, or a lumberjack that's worth an extra 16 because of it, or a brickyard that's worth an extra 16 because of it. I do want to stack all of my brickyards in one area so that all of my masons can tag them easily, so that like my masons are separate but my brickyards are together. That way all of my sand pits can hit all of my brickyards at the same time, and then it's easier to place a market, which, okay. So market goes down here. A market is probably going to be shrunk. A warehouse is going to go down here afterwards to be able to hit the majority of the masons. And I guess I don't need to be like worried about building against the cliffside. I can just build out in this open area. Okay. So starting the line, where do I want to start? If I play a sand pit, that requires that I play another sand pit or a brickyard to get out of it. And I don't want to play brickyards before I play my masons. So it's playing 1 mason, playing a wisp on it, playing 3 other masons, brickyard 1, 2 sand pits on one side, brickyard 2 in the center, 2 or 3 sand pits on this side to hit the brickyards. And then after that, I would place a 3rd brickyard sustainable in the center, and then I would play a mason on whichever side. I think this one, so that I can then use a market here. Hold on. Do I want to play a warehouse before or after my aquatic buildings? Let's say that I play a warehouse first. Harbors are worth 8 points. Warehouses are worth 7 points on a harbor, so it's better to play a warehouse before I play a harbor. Docks, worth an extra... nothing on warehouses? But these guys like docks at a rate of 5. Okay, so I would want to play My... How much is a market worth on these guys? Not much on the docks and the fishers. It is worth a lot more for the warehouses, though. Okay, okay. Do I do the math for this? Sorry, drawing a blank. The warehouses. Let's run under the assumption that I've played all of my brickyard buildings and I play a market to bounce the wisp onto it, so that I can play my 5 docks, and then I can play a warehouse afterwards, and then I can play what is it? Another warehouse beside it, because like the warehouse will have like it'll be worth the most points here in between the majority of the masons, the brickyards, and beside all of the docks. I play 2 warehouses side by side here, also in range of the market. It's worth an extra, or it's worth 26 less points because I played them before the market, but they're worth an extra, if I hit all of the docks, 25 points each. So I'm gaining 24 points by playing my warehouses second. If I play my warehouse first, it allows me to play my market afterwards, which I don't know if that's... Yeah, that isn't worth it. Okay. So then the line is to play the market first. It's to play the warehouse in range of everything else. And I'd probably save my shrink building for one of my 2 warehouses to get it snuck into wherever it needs to fit. And then after those warehouses are down, then I place a harbor. And then after that harbor, the harbor hopefully sticks out in like this direction here. Yeah, it sticks out like this. So that I can then play a seaweed farm that is tagging it. No, because I want to play seaweed fields outside of the range of where I'm playing my, like, seaweed farms first. Because I don't have the space to fit 20 seaweed fields within range of, like, I can't play 20 seaweed fields that are all tagging all 3 of these seaweed farms. So it's better to play the harbor in it, like, at the point in the chain where I need to play the harbor, I do so. And then before I bounce it from, like, the harbor onto the seaweed farms, I play some seaweed fields first. The very first one gets a -2 for being beside this harbor, but that's fine. It's just to bounce the wisp onto it. And then I wrap them around the outside, playing down until I have, I think last time I had 13 seaweed fields, and that was fine to get beside all of the seaweed farms. And with this area, I do have some more space because I can have seaweed fields go behind the seaweed farms to get more of the points. Yes, they might hit 1 harbor or 1 dock, but that's -4 points compared to getting +8 points on each of the seaweed farms. Okay, so I play a harbor. I then play, I'm gonna say 6 seaweed fields actually, because of how many, or like how much space behind the seaweed farms I'll have. So I play 6 seaweed fields, I play 1 seaweed farm to tag the harbor behind it and the seaweed field in front to bounce the wisp. I then play 2 sustainable seaweed farms beside it. I play the rest of my seaweed fields. I then play a lighthouse on this corner, hopefully, which picks up the wisp, which, but then to bounce the wisp from, I guess both lighthouses don't need the wisp. So whichever lighthouse is worth more points, this one or this one is going to be worth less because there's less seaweed fields around it. So we play this lighthouse then. This lighthouse has a wisp on it. I need to make sure that the wisp can bounce off of this lighthouse to the next area, which I don't know if it does. Because the pyre up here, yeah, it definitely doesn't have the range to reach this rock. So I think the order is after I'm done playing all my seaweed farms, I need to have my last seaweed field be on this side so that my lighthouse can pick up the wisp from it onto this lighthouse. This lighthouse I can play afterwards, not bouncing the wisp, but I actually don't want it to bounce over here, so that my pyre can go up beside where all of my lumberjacks are going to go. I then place all of my lumberjacks. I then place this pyre over here to pick up the wisp from the lumberjacks, also getting some points over here. I play a range increased pyre over here, and then I do all my farming. Oh, that's such a long line. I'm going to pause the recording here. I'm going to write that down, and I'll be back. Alright, I'm not dropping back in, not because I'm done the list, but because I need to think out loud for a second. I was assuming that I wanted to play the fishers earlier in the line, because you can see that they're worth 4 points on a harbor or 2 on a dock. Harbors get 5 points from a fisher, and these guys get 3 points from a fisher. So if I were to play all of my fishers before my dock, fishers don't score off of a market. So like with my wisp line, it has to be market into 1 dock, into all 5 of my fishers, into 4 docks, warehouses, and then harbor, which means that of the 5 fishers that I play, what is it? Only 4 of them are going to get the extra points from, or like, oh, sorry, of the docks that I played, only 4 of them are going to get extra points from the fissure, which means that I'm getting 1 extra point across 5 fissures, 5 points, 4 times for a total of plus 20, and then all 5 of the fissures get 1 extra point on the harbor for an extra 25 points. But if I were to place my fissures in such a way that capitalizes on all of my seaweed farms or seaweed fields, because fishers score 1 point off of them and they score -4 off of seaweed farms, I have 3 seaweed farms which are worth what is that, -12 points. But we get, if the fisher tags all of the seaweed fields, that's plus 8 points times the 5 fishers that I have for an extra 40 points. So before I was losing, what was it? I think it was 25 points total, but I'm gaining 40 points here. So fishers later in the line, if I get all of my seaweed fields, are like worth it to play later. My warehouses aren't going to be in range of my fishers though, so that's also another -12 points. Or sorry, not -12 point. That's -12 points times by how many fishers I have. Okay, so I want all of my fishers to go down before my warehouses do, and is there a better time to sneak my warehouses in than before the harbor? They score off of seaweed farms, but I'm not playing a seaweed farm to end the line. I could play a fisher at the very end of all of my seaweed farms and fields to be able to pick up the wisp, to then get it onto a warehouse, and then play 1 more fisher by the time that, like, that's over, to then get the wisp onto the lighthouse afterwards. So that would mean that I would play 4 fishers to capitalize off of all of the seaweed fields, and those 4 fishers would all have sustainables on them, so that means that I don't use a sustainable on my, brickyards or my lumberjacks. These guys are just, well, I guess the first one or the second fisher that I play doesn't have the sustainable on it, the 3 afterwards only do. But I have 6 sustainables overall, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are used. Okay, that's all of them. Also, using the sustainable on the fisher doesn't take the negative points of the seaweed farm into account, which means that I'm, like, gaining 12 points, or, like, I don't have to take that -12 into account for 3 of the fishers that I'm using, which does also mean that it's... Wait, does that mean that it's more worth... So I'm not using it on the second fisher, or at least I thought that I wasn't, because that's worth -11, when I'm using it on the third brickyard, because that's -16 points. But if I'm using a sustainable over here, that's not just -11 on the second fisher that I place, it's also the -12 from the 3 seaweed farms that'll be down, so it's -23 points that I'm making up on, like, my first sustainable use on a fisher. So it's 1 neighborly and sustainable used here, nothing on the brickyards, and then 4 used on the fishers. The fishers are all clumped together so that both of my warehouses will be able to tag them for an extra... Well, that's going to be a lot of points. One of my warehouses might even be the score multiplied thing by the end of this. And I play 4 fishers like that. I play 2 warehouses, and then I play 1 fisher afterwards to bounce it from the warehouse back onto the fisher. And then I play my lighthouse from, like, my fisher's going to be out here or something like that. I play my lighthouse over here to pick it up, and then I continue the line as normal. Okay, so that's a change. I'll write down the order. I'll be back in a bit. All right, another quick check-in. Still not done. I'm at the lumberjack point of the build. Lumberjacks, I want to talk out loud again because I want to know if bouncing the wisp from a lumberjack onto a sawmill back onto a lumberjack is worth it, or do I play sawmills at the end without bouncing them at all? So if I place all 5 of my lumberjacks first and then I place a sawmill afterwards, they're worth 35 points. If I, let's say, play all of my 4 of my lumberjacks, play 1 sawmill, and then play a lumberjack afterwards, that gets me an extra 5 points because of the bounce onto the sawmill, but it loses me 2 points because one of my lumberjacks is yet to be played, which is -7 here, but the lumberjack that pulls the wisp back from the sawmill is getting +5 points from the sawmill. So the lumberjack, playing 4 lumberjacks and then a sawmill and then a lumberjack at the end for the 5 total means that I get an extra 5 points from the wisp, but I lose 2 points from not having the sawmill in range. as long as the sawmill doesn't delete any trees. If I run under that same logic, the one beforehand is -4 points because there's 2 lumberjacks that have yet to be played. Hold on. Is that the same? Okay, let's say that I play 3 lumberjacks first, and then I play a sawmill. That sawmill's going to score 21 points, which is 14 less than what it should, but then I recoup 10 points from the next 2 lumberjacks that I play that are in range of that sawmill. So that's 4 points lost, but it could be 5 points gained from a wisp. The thing is, if either of the sawmills that I place delete any trees, it is not worth it because my lumberjacks score less points. Or I guess if I delete 1 tree on the the sawmill that I play after 4 lumberjacks, that could still be worth it, but it's hard to say. I don't think I'm going to be able to get 2 sawmills in range how I want to without deleting any trees. I can see 1 spot down here, but I don't think that's reaching all of the lumberjacks. I could see 1 spot over here that doesn't delete any trees, is going to hit all of the lumberjacks, and saves enough space for me to play a sawmill here and here. That means that I'm comfortable with playing 4 lumberjacks, 1 sawmill, the other lumberjack to keep the wisp onto it, the pyre, and then the 2 sawmills afterwards to make sure that the wisp doesn't get stuck on one of these sawmills. Okay, I'm gonna go write that down. Okay, so I've just about got the line finalized. The last thing that I need to consider is, well, I already have one of my duplications going on to a lighthouse because I've seen lighthouses be worth around 90 to 110 points. I've seen breweries worth 90 to 110 points, and I've seen mills be 90 to 100. So I want to save my duplications for those guys because they're worth the most points. I don't think a seaweed farm would get me as many points. Sure, it could be worth 40 when I place it, and then worth an extra... It could be worth an extra 8 as I progress, or it could be worth an extra 8 on all of the seaweed fields after, but then I would need to get all of my seaweed fields in range of 4 seaweed farms, and I need to use an extra sustainable on this. So like, even if it is worth the extra 120 or 130 points, like, it's worth more than the other things. It's not worth more than the other things, or it's harder to play around to be worth about the same amount of points, because playing one of these seaweed farms in range of all of the others removes one of my sustainable uses, which is worth around 20 to 30 points in my head, with like when I use them on the fishers. So I don't want to duplicate a seaweed farm. I don't want to duplicate like anything else. Not another wheat field. I don't have enough mills for that to matter, or like enough wheat fields for that to matter either. Maybe warehouses, but I don't think I'm going to have the space for them, honestly. And if I start stacking too many of them beside each other, it's going to be worth too many negative points. The guild hall here is something that I need to talk about. Where is this guy going? Because I am going to be stacking all of my masons, brickyards, and sand pits close together down here. So he can't really go beside here because it's going to be too many masons that are close together. He could at the very least take 1 lumberjack, 1 sawmill, and 1 pyre from up here, which would mean that this guy, if I have any building that is worth less than 12 points overall, I can stick it up by where this guy's going to go. Seaweed farms are going to be worth more than that. Brickyards and sand pits can't go up there, or they're going to be worth more than that. Same with lumberjacks. Well, lumberjacks are already going up here. Fishers are going to be worth more than that. Brigadiers can't score off of it. It's like, there isn't a good way to get more points on my guild hall in this area. But this is only taking 3 buildings. Is there anywhere that I'm doing any better? Not my wheat fields or my hop fields. Not going to happen. Just with like the way that I need to bounce wisps, I don't get the opportunity to play 1 wheat field and then 1 hop field, 1 brewery and 1 mill, and then play the guild hall. And I'm not going to have like a corner that has only 1 wheat field, only 1 hop field, a mill, and a brewery beside it. That's just not happening. So the guild hall, I think, has a best chance of taking one of the warehouses here, the warehouse, one of the docks. I don't think it's going to hit the harbor. Maybe it hits a fisher from here, but it's unlikely. It's not hitting a lighthouse, and I'm hoping for it to hit 1 mason and 1 sand pit. So this could be worth, what is it? Sand pit, mason, 1, 2, 3, 4... 5, maybe 6. So at maximum, this guild hall is worth double the amount of up here. I do think that I'm just going to trash the guild hall and say this guy's worth 36 points in my head. Not anymore. It's too hard to place. I could use him to bounce a wisp up here, but it does delete trees. I guess my No, because my pyre needs to bounce, what is it, the wisp from one of the lumberjacks. Yeah, so I can't do this in the middle of the lumberjack chain. So I can't use a guild hall to get another wisp bounce off. Rough. Okay, so guild hall, I'm saying it's a trash building in this setup. I'm not going to be focused on it. Before we get going on, the actual build, I'll run you down, like, the exact order that I'm doing, and the exact order that I have done so far. So it's verdures and blossoms on the non-statue island to maximize trees. If you can't maximize trees, excess verdures are going to be played as fish, because I haven't done that yet. Then we play 1 mason, we wisp it. We play 3 masons. We play a brickyard, we play 3 sand pits. We play another brickyard. We play a mason, we play a market, we play all 5 of our docks, we play a harbor, we play our however many seaweed fields we think that need to be outside of the range. In this case, because I've got a good seaweed farm set up, I'm going to say that's 6. Maybe I should make it 7. 6 feels a bit greedy. Then I play 3 seaweed farms. I play the rest of my seaweed fields, 14. I play 4 fishers. 3 of them are sustainable. I play 2 warehouses, both in range of those 4 fishers, because they get a lot of points from the fishers. Play 1 fisher to bounce the wisp back onto it. I play my first lighthouse, the one that is where the wisp is going to be, like, bounceable, so it's going to be this lighthouse. Then I duplicate that lighthouse if it's worth 90 points, or more, if this lighthouse down here is going to be worth 90 points or more, and play it, so that you don't have to worry about a brewery or a wheat field later. There's not going to be space for another lighthouse unless I save a neighborly, which I'm not going to do. I'd rather use that on my seaweed farm for 24 points. Okay, sorry, I'm getting into the weeds too much. After the 2 lighthouses go down, I then play the 1 pyre up here to bounce the wisp from it on there. I play 4 lumberjacks. I then would play 1 sawmill, and then my last lumberjack, and then my pyre to steal the wisp. I'd play my 2 sawmills before I forget about them, and then I'd play 1 range increased pyre all the way over here to take these other 2, pulling the wisp over. This range increased pyre is going to be tagged by 1 hop field alone. I then play a mass amount of hop fields, getting as many close to the statue as I can, while still saving enough space for my wheat fields so that I can play 2 beside the statue here. And then I would play my 3 breweries. I'd play my range increased pyre. 18 hop fields here. Brewery, hop field, brewery, hop field, brewery. That gets rid of all of my hop fields. That makes me end on a brewery when as many hop fields could have been placed when I'm placing these breweries. I'm fine with taking a -11 or -22 if I need to on these breweries. I'm not going to try to, like, make them perfect. Maybe one of them goes out of the range over here, and then the other 2 are, like, in range on this side here. My last brewery has to be one that is close enough to let a precious wheat field ping it for points, hopefully also hitting the statue, but I think I'm only going to worry about 19 of my wheat fields hitting the statue, not all 20, especially with this corner being a little bit more tight than usual. Then I would play down to this corner first with my wheat fields, and how many wheat fields am I playing? So it's 1 precious wheat field, 18 regular wheat fields, and then my mill, a mill beside where my wheat fields are, and then a wheat field to pick it back up, and then a mill elsewhere to be able to, like, get an extra wisp bounce onto that mill. Now that is asking for a lot, because playing a mill really close to wheat fields means that the other mills are a lot harder to position without, like, hitting the mill that is right beside the wheat fields. So I don't know if I'm going to be doing that wisp bounce. It's just, like, it's too much planning ahead. It's going to get me more points, but I don't think I'm going to be able to complete it, if that makes sense. Then at the very end of the game, I will have, a duplication to duplicate one of my mills, and I'll play a 4th mill for either 90 points or 70 points. 90 points if I'm not hitting any of my other mills, so I'd play maybe 1 here, 2 here. But then I could only play 3 up here, and this is where breweries are as well. So my 4th one is going to have to double up on one of them. So my duplication is only going to be worth 70 points. I guess that's fine. I could also... No, I can't consider using a duplication on anything else because I have to bargain the lighthouse because the lighthouse is, gated behind the pyres. But that's the line. Bricks into aquatics, into pyre lumberjacks, into pyre farming. Let's get started. I'll save the verdure until later. I don't need to worry about that until I get to my actual dock placements. Let's worry about the masons first. I want to do these in 2 different clumps of 2. And I would like them to be closer to where the warehouses are going to be placed, which are going to be here. Which means that if I play my warehouse 1 along this wall and warehouse 2 along here, maybe shrunken so that it can fit in nicely here. And this market can get all of my masons, and it's going to hit the majority of my docks. And hold on, this harbor? Yeah, this harbor is also going to be in range of that market. All of my docks go here. My docks aren't going to be able to score off of that many fish, but that's fine. I'm eating a lot of points on like getting bad fish spawns. I guess I could put the docks over here. Okay. What changes if I put the docks over here? Lighthouses aren't going to hit them. Lighthouses get 4 points for dock. So if I'm getting an extra 4 points by putting a dock over here, I'm just losing the points that I would get from playing a lighthouse here. This lighthouse still hits all of them. So like they're roughly equivalent, but I don't like these dock placements as much. I don't know why. It just feels like these are going to be easier to get everything in range of. If I do play the docks over here, I get the added benefit of more natural fish spawns for the fishers, but I guess the fish spawn for the fishers could also be all of these. Okay, if I do play my docks down here, though, that means that my warehouses and my markets are going to need to go behind them somewhere. But if I do that, then I don't have any space to play my sand pits and my brickyards. My sand pits and my brickyards could be further down this way, which these rocks don't matter. I guess that works. I have to pick one. I just don't know which one's the better option. If these fish were over here, very easy. Okay, let's say if docks were like all the way down here. Some of them are getting 6 points. Some of them are getting 4 points. If I play them over here, they're getting no extra points, and I can't play them where the harbor goes. I could play them here for 3 points. I guess the 3 or sometimes maybe 4 points that they're worth is worth more than getting these guys that are worth sometimes 4 points over here, but not being in range of both lighthouses. Okay, so my intuition, or like just my first guess as to playing the docks over here feels to be correct. If my docks are getting played over here, I need to make sure that my warehouses hit all of them. Hold on. My warehouses can go as far as this line right here, so I can't actually play any of the docks all the way out here, because then they're not scoring off of the warehouses. This is the closest that I can get, but I can get one worth 3, and then this one worth 3, and then the docks over here, I don't want to take up any space, because then that means that I get into, like, seaweed field placement territory. Let's actually see. Does this one mess up the seaweed fields that I play over here? It does, and I do not like that at all, because I want to play seaweed fields back here as, like, 1, 2, and maybe 3, 4. Maybe the third and the fourth ones are worth it, but these two definitely are, and I don't want to be constrained on them. Okay, so if I don't want to be constrained on seaweed fields over here, I would play docks on this side instead. I would then play warehouses to be in range of the majority of the docks and the majority of the... So my brickyards would have to go like roughly where those rocks are. My warehouses still go on this corner. Don't like that it doesn't fit nicely. It's like 1 and 2. My masons would have to go down... Because I want my masons to be in range, right? Because they're worth a lot. They're worth 5. I'd like all of my masons to be in range of the warehouse, which is difficult if my brickyards are centered here. Okay, let's try brickyard here. How far can masons go out from it? We just, yeah, okay, don't have anything stored in my undo. So brickyard goes down, masons can go all the way out to here. And that means that these masons here aren't going to take these ones. So ones directly on this corner are going to be visible by that warehouse. Okay, so that works. So I can get all of my masons and my brickyards seen by this warehouse, and then this one back here doesn't see 2 of my masons. That's fine. All of my docks are going to be far enough out of the way that they're not going to interrupt any of, like, the sand pits. Now, let's just see. These warehouses, if I have them hitting these masons, are only going to see docks up to this line, which means that I could get a 5 placement, probably a 4 placement, a 2... Ooh, it's rough. Okay. If I play docks here, I also don't have the space to, like, span my seaweed fields out to the side without taking a couple minuses. The minuses aren't going to be that bad. I don't need to worry about it. What if I just line 5 straight docks here? And I stop thinking about it. So, like, I start from this fish, and I just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're not taking up that much sand, which... I could still reason... Oh, I guess I can play my sand pits before the docks. So the docks don't really matter. And then I place... What is it? Because my brickyards are in the center of where my sand pits go. Let's place like a brickyard here, for example. And then we try to line up a sand pit on this side. It can be really far away. There's definitely enough space for 1 warehouse, maybe 2 warehouses to fit in on this side, and a market to fit in on the other. So my market hits all of my masons. It's close enough to all of my docks to be able to be hit by all of my docks. And my warehouses are close enough to my market to also be hit. So I think I like this setup. Now I just need to decide which like area of sand I want to do it on. This seems like it's too small, so I want to try bringing it over here. So like, let's say the center of my build is right here. That means that I get a market to go on this side. That means that I get 2 warehouses to go on this side. 1 and 2. And there's definitely enough space for that to happen. The warehouses are going to be in range of all of the docks. The docks aren't going to be in range of the market, though. Or I guess a couple of these will. Yeah, because it'll be angled on this side. I guess I will have 3 brickyards down, and that will complicate things a bit, but like most of them will hit. So I like centering my like land buildings on this area. Why am I pushing my land buildings in this direction? Is there a reason? I don't think so. No, okay. It might also just be easier to build along something that's like a straight area of sand too, that I don't have to worry about a curve. Is there enough space for 2 warehouses to go down side by side here? 1, let's see what it looks like from this angle. 1, and yeah, there's definitely enough space for 2. Now if I bring it all the way to this edge, can I get a dock in front of it? Yes, I can. Okay, so placing something along the edge of the beach doesn't really matter for docks unless they're turned sideways, I think. Let me double check that. So a warehouse goes right along the beach. Docks that are perpendicular to the beach are fine, but you tilt them too much to the side and they're not able to attach. But I don't need to do that for extra fish points. And if I'm playing all 5 of my docks here, the most points that I can get from them, without deleting this fish, if I pick up this fish, it deletes this one, so they're worth 4, maybe 5 points if I'm lucky. The best place for fish is either right here in this pocket or right out here. Now, if I play fish out here, that could be detected by the seaweed farm, but I could also cover over them with a few seaweed fields that I have. If I play fish on the inside, then that means that some of my docks are going to destroy them as they get placed. If I play them close to the beach here, though, I do get an extra flower. Let's say I do this. Could my docks see this? Could my harbor see this? My harbor doesn't see this. My harbor's over here, and my harbor gets 3 points per fish. I think it's more worthwhile to play this set of fish out here then. And how would I want to line this up? If I take -5, I can really stack the fish tightly to make sure that all of my other buildings get it. It's -5 now for maybe the payoff of more of my docks hitting them, which they only like fish at a rate of 1. But if I make all... I guess I don't have to worry about my fishers being placed in like really particular spots either, because I'm using sustainables on them. So like a fisher out here that hits these ones. Oh, right. I wanted a fisher here at the end of things to be able to ping, what is it, the wisp onto my lighthouse? Which if I play the fish here, then this one can hit those fish. Okay, so it's this set of fish that I play. Let's play them now then, before I forget. Do I want to play them on the inside here? No, because the harbor covers this up. What if I play them, like, actually right here? No, there's not enough space to make it around the others. And I don't want to remove one fish for a tree. That tree does nothing for me. Just feels like the fish are too far away when I play it out here. I might double stack along this fish here. Like this. That feels like the best option to me. I guess I can hold on to it. We just start with the masons? Let's make sure that a warehouse is in range of this. If it's in range of this mason, the second one is also going to be in range of it. This one's in range of all of the docks. In range of all the things that it needs to be. Hold on, I forgot about this lighthouse over here. I want it to be in range of all of the docks and harbors. That's why I was playing the docks and harbors on this line, is that this lighthouse has better point scoring. And I can't play it down here. And playing it on the beach it covers up this location, which sucks. I guess I could always do like a lighthouse up here to get all of the close... I do think I still want to stick to this lighthouse and this lighthouse, which then means that all of my docks and harbors should go in the middle. The few extra points that I'll get from these fish are not going to be worth it on the docks, and the fishers have enough range to be able to pick up both of them. So I shouldn't be worried about them. So that means if my warehouses are going to go here to be in range of all of the fishers that get placed here, I would want warehouses here, and then either my brickyard on this side with my market out here, or brickyard on this side with my market out here. And that seems like it's getting a bit too congested. So that means warehouses here, brickyard here, sandpits here, market here. And if I'm placing my brickyards here, then I would want my masons to start on this corner and end on this corner. So let's send it, making sure that I haven't placed any buildings. Okay, let's send it by placing masons in this corner, and then we'll just build everything around this, hoping that this is the correct decision. Warehouse definitely fits, and then the brickyard... definitely in range. It'll be in range of 2 if I move them up a bit more. And then, yeah, I play 2 sandpits on this side to begin with. And then that's my bounding box for like where my warehouses are going to go. Yeah, we play 1 here, 2 here. Okay, that works. Let's get a wisp down then. Just want to make sure that there's nothing that I'm, like, not considering. Demolish doesn't do anything for me. Wisp. Okay. We're locked in. Then we play this mason. Yeah, a little bit more forward so that this one can just tag the one mason and not both of them. So we go here. And then we go like this. Alright, and then we put a brickyard down to tag all of them. We put 2 sandpits down there afterwards. Let's get a brickyard nice and tight to the wall so it's not taking up much space. Now, hold on. With my brickyard, I want to make sure that all my sandpits can hit it. Are all of my sandpits going to be able to hit this guy? Yeah? Yeah. And this does also leave a lot of empty space in front of me. More so than like what I'm planning for. Which is a good thing. Brickyard should come after the sandpits, yeah, which is why I placed the sandpits first. These sandpits should be in range of the next brickyard, though, so I have to keep that in mind. I'm not able to put the next sandpits any further back than this line of rocks, which is quite far back. We'll be fine. These sandpits should also be in range enough for the warehouses, so moving them a bit further forward would be nice. So number 1 here. This is trawling all of the sand that it can. Yep. Okay, so warehouses here still look pretty good. Man, with how much space is left over here, I might be able to duplicate one warehouse if they get to be really high scoring. But we'll see. We'll see. After this setup, it was playing another brickyard. And that lines them up nicely. They're kissing. Or hugging. I think this is definitely more hugging. They're beside each other. 2 sand pits. Or 3 sand pits in this corner. Trying to trawl as much sand as we can. It's trawling all of it. We want to make sure that the last brickyard that we place in range of these sand pits as well. That last brickyard could be placed on... It can't be placed on this side. It would need to be... Ooh. Do I undo this brickyard then? Because there's no penalty for me. Yeah, there's no penalty for me doing so. I should play this brickyard on this side. So when I play this brickyard here, it's able to hit those 2 sand pits. I like that better. Alright, now they're in a huddle instead of a hug. This is the man hug of you grab the other person's arm and you slap their back. Well, like, yeah. Sand pits. Sand pits, sand pits, sand pits. Here. That feels too central, like I'm going to be losing good spots for my other sand pits. And can I place a sand pit that isn't going to hit any of the others? Yes, but I don't think that's worth it. Because, like, when I play this one over here, it's worth it for my second sand pit to be beside the first one, because the -4 is recouped and a bit because of the wisp. The next one is only worth, like, -3 points for being in their range. So it's worth 25 to do this. Further out is probably better. So right there. And then this is trawling all but 1 bit of sand. I don't think I'm going to find a 22 anywhere. There's a 22, and then I could put one of my sand pits in front of it like this. Maybe I get lucky enough to find another 22, but this 22 I'm fine with. If I move it up a bit from... Yeah, I'm fine with them being directly along the water here. I'm not playing docks here. Okay, so then we're looking for an 18 if we get lucky. Lucky enough to find one. It's right there. I did forget to check this brickyard for tagging all the sand pits. It's good enough that it does. Okay. Right there. And then this brickyard in the center. The brickyards have always been worth 30 points because I've been offsetting the negatives from the brickyards themselves with other sand pits. But it's going to be really nice to capitalize off of with my warehouses. I should double check that I have enough space for a market back here that hits everything. Or a market up here that hits everything. The market up here might be nicer to place since this is where most of my docks are going to be. And my docks want to be able to see the market, right? Yeah, they really do. Okay, so then if my warehouses are down here, they still hit everything, and probably the majority of my docks too. And I can play... Oh, I can play 2 in range. They don't hit that last sand pit over there, which kind of sucks. Something I should have considered, but... Playing them for 40 points, and then this one for... If I shrink it, it'll be able to hit these 2 sand pits. And then I can play one more back, like, here, to hit all the masons. It doesn't get most of the docks then. Maybe I shrink the market then, instead, to save on space? Let me see what a shrunken market looks like in this area. Where's shrink? There's shrink. Maybe there's enough space to play a warehouse in front of it here. If there is, that could be worth it, but I don't think so. Right. So it is now brickyard next. Mason market. I've come up with a line that there's no point in me doubting myself now. This one's worth 31. I can get it to be worth 35. There. Okay. Then we play a mason that's in range of this last brickyard, but not in range of the other masons. So I guess down here would work. And that's going to be in range of all of the warehouses and the market. If I wanted to get really crazy, I could have maybe placed these 2 masons further up the hill, and maybe one of these mills somehow tagged some of the masons for some more points. But that feels like too much. Now we're going to play a market here. I am going to test to see if the shrink building does save enough space for a warehouse in front of it here. And I can undo this. I can undo this action. It's fine. It's not going to ruin anything. There is enough space to slot 1 in here, but it's not as, like, worth as I thought it was going to be. Because the warehouse is here. It can be worth, like, just the same. Because of the sand pits that it hits on this side. Like, this guy here is worth 61. I guess if I'm duplicating a warehouse, it makes sense to do this. Am I duplicating a warehouse? No, because even if I get this to be worth 90 points by playing docks, harbors... No, never mind, because I'm also playing fishers in range. I need to remember that. So the warehouse is going to be worth an extra 5 points from each dock at max. So 25 points plus an extra 7 from the harbor. So let's just say 30 instead. And it's going to be worth an extra... I guess only 24 points from the fishers. So let's round that up to 25. What was the number that I had before? It was 25, it was 30, plus another 25. So they're going to be worth an extra 55 points on what they are right now. That means that this goes up to 65, 70. It goes up to 120 points, which I could score malt one of them to be worth... Like, that would be my most worthwhile building. It's probably worth more than a lighthouse. Yeah, I can see that happening. Okay, so then if I'm score malting one of these... Ah, this one doesn't fit. I guess... Okay, so this fits. This one isn't going to fit around that then, right? There's, like, no way. It depends on how many docks I'm able to fit, or, like, how far up my docks want to go here. I guess they don't need to go high, because there's no fish in this area. They just need to be along this edge that both of the lighthouses can tag them. Man, now that I could have duplicated a warehouse, I don't think I need to save the duplication for a lighthouse, because I can duplicate a warehouse and a mill, and then only one No, because I needed this lighthouse to always be played here to be able to get the pyre up, or the wisp up to the pyre. I think I'm fine saving the shrink then. This feels like I have enough space to, even if I wanted to, play 3 warehouses without using a shrink and without using this space here. Just because this space fits it so perfectly and this doesn't have enough space for another warehouse. If this fit a warehouse right here, I guess I should say like... Yeah, this 61 pointer, if I could play that 61 pointer and this warehouse afterwards, then I'd shrink this market, but I'm not going to. Not in the world that we're currently living in. That means I don't need to use shrink. I'm just going to place a market, right? After we play that mason, it's market into 5 docks and then a harbor afterwards. Okay. This feels like it gives the most space for my warehouses. Let me see after I play this. I think rotating it 1 back is actually going to be more helpful. Like this. So there. And then we place number 1 here. Yeah, number 2 here. Number 3 here. Okay, that works. And even though the warehouses score so much off of the market is used to be able to keep the wisp bounces going. Yeah. 5 docks. They all go down here, but before that happens, we need to make sure that there's fish in range for these guys. Which means that the fish go down here. We want to make sure these 5 docks are in range of both of the lighthouses, though. So the maximum range of this lighthouse is up to the sand pits, which means that I start building docks at the sand pits. Which could be here, which means that all 3 of the fish need to be in range of this bottom area here. So something like this works. That puts 2 fish in range of like being killed by the docks though, so I think I like this better. If it isn't proper, it's going to be good enough. I guess, okay, those fish I always have to dodge around. Do I place this dock first then to dodge around them? Sure, why not? Let's go there, because then we might get a long dock later. And I think I place this one as high as I can to be like, to show me what bounds I have to work with. One of my docks is going to go here at the end, and I don't want it to delete that fish. I guess this can be a long dock then a harbor goes here. Okay, how long does my harbor have for range? Oh, yeah, it definitely tags. Okay. Let's just play one up here then. Making sure that this lighthouse can still see it. Okay. Might need to be wiggled up slightly, but that's fine. Then this dock also fits in. It would be lovely if I could get one more to fit in like this afterwards. Yeah, and it's not worth any more points if I put them down there. Okay, this guy's worth 18. It's worth 19 there. This is the exact dock that I was looking for. I do realize now that this dock is blocking a bit of this warehouse space. We might have to shrink this warehouse to fit it in. We'll see. Alright, and then this one tries to save as much space on the inside of the dock as possible without deleting the fish, because that's going to be worth points on the harbor and the fishers yet to come. Let's play this dock and then see if the warehouse can still fit. Yes, it can, and it can still be moved over all the way. 92 points on a warehouse, and we're going to get an extra 24 on a fish. This, I think, is going to be my score malted building. My lighthouse might somehow be worth more. Let's see what this lighthouse would be worth, theoretically. It's worth 45 now. We're going to place 3 seaweed farms for an extra 12. 20 seaweed fields that it's not going to be in range of all of. Yeah, I don't think my... Okay, this lighthouse might be worth more. The duplicated one. It's worth 48 points right now. Plus an extra 10, 50, plus... I don't want to do that math yet. I'm going to put it off. Okay, so after the 5 docks, it's into the harbor, and then I start playing my seaweed fields. So if I play my harbor too far forward, then my seaweed fields are going to take it for -2. I guess that -2 isn't that bad. I want to make sure that I can still play my warehouses behind this dock, is the thing. So I think playing it... That's too close. I'm not going to get a warehouse fit in properly. Let's do this and see if I have enough space to fit a warehouse in behind it. No, it needs to be like right along the beach to get that to work. This one still does, but I need more space for this warehouse. So we're just going to have to eat the negative points on some of the seaweed fields that go down here. And, oh, this dock might be a bit too close and I might not have enough space for the seaweed fields that I want. I mean, it's good enough. It's not preferable, but it's good enough. Yeah, a lot of these actually are going to be eating the negative points. Oh, this rock is... Oh, that sucks. That this rock here has, like... It's not destructible, like these ones beside it. The harbor, I might actually put in a different location. Like, what if we put it over here? That doesn't change the warehouses taking it. Doesn't change the fishers tagging it. It would just change how many seaweed fields tag it. And I can snake my seaweed field starting from here, and then around into where all of my farms go. And that leaves more space for things behind the seaweed fields to get points. Hold on, do harbors like seaweed fields? They don't care, but they do take points from seaweed farms. Do I wait to play my harbor then, and I use a seaweed field to strip the wisp off of my dock? It's hard to say yes, because this is going to be in range. It's only in range of, like, I guess one of the seaweed farms on this side. This one would be in range of all three. Let me see if I can find a better spot for my harbor somewhere. It can't attach to this side. It could attach to this side. It could attach like this. And I could shrink it if necessary to make sure that it doesn't hit any of my seaweed farms. So like this works. I think I'm fine with that. Okay, so a slight deviation to the plan. There's something that I wanted to check. What was it? Guild Hall. Is there any good spot for a guild hall down here? 28 points is my max. I'll be able to get 36 up there at minimum. Yeah. And there's no way that I can make it worth more over here. Yeah, no. It's not happening. Okay. So I don't wrap from this side. I wrap from this side. Right. All of my seaweed farms need to tag this field. Can all of them tag this field? I would want to place 1, 2, and 3. Maybe even place them a bit further back. No, they should be played as far forward as they can be. 1, 2, and then 3. Which means that roughly here is where I need a seaweed farm. Which means that I can play it up to here at max. Which then means that a harbor can be tucked in behind here after. This is too far out. It's not going to have the warehouses take it. I guess no, because, yeah, seaweed fields are going to be there. I can't do that. So it is a shrunken harbor back here. Let me double check that that shrunken harbor still fits. It does. Okay, good. It's worth 5 less points because there's no longer a wisp bouncing to it. Now let's double check that all of our seaweed farms can tag this field without this field being in their range. I guess, yeah, it's only in range of one of them. So it's in range of 1. It's in range of 2. It might not be might not be in range of the third, but that's something that I'll live with. Now we need to make sure that our seaweed farms stay close to the outside without deleting any fish. So you can play a seaweed farm out here. It's hard to lock in this position because the seaweed farms can be worth so many points. I'm comfortable with this. So then 1 seaweed farm, 2 seaweed farm, 3 seaweed farm. And with how far the nets go out, these seaweed farms could be worth more points to be played earlier, so I still need to like extend further outwards. So this feels fine, and I can start making like a patch back here now. I don't think I need to do a big jump like this again. Sure. And if I play 1 more right here, it will still be detectable. So this is fine. And then I can probably play 1 more like this too. Could also do this. I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to be using the extra hexagon of space. This feels right. We played 5 fields so far. I said that I wanted to play... I wanted to play 6 before I started playing my fields. Or before I played my farms, my fields into those farms. Does that one feel too close? So if I have my net that is hanging roughly around here, this guy doesn't reach that net. Okay, we're still fine. And then I would play one more right here. Sure. All right, now, to go over like the point calculation, just to make sure that I'm playing this correctly, we've got seaweed fields that I place that are going to be tagged by 3 seaweed farms to be worth 12 points. If one of my fields hits 2 of my farms, that is going to be worth 16 points instead of 12 points. So if I can make all 14 of these fields fit into at least 2 farms, they're going to be worth more. And with this rock being the shape that it is, being able to put seaweed farms behind it, I believe that to be the case. So I should put down my seaweed farms starting now. Now the question is, where do I place all of them? If I place too far off to the right side here, then I'm not going to be able to get fields that are... Well, no, if I do place all the way to the right side, then I have this guy being placed around... Okay, so 1, 2, 3. They're all worth 39 points. And then my seaweed farms right here are... I'd want there to be... Yeah, I guess that just barely tags it. This one is going to... Slightly off. Rough. That I didn't check that there's enough space against this rock here with this guy. Because I'd want to do this placement or something similar. Or at least have it close enough that it could snap into place. Play the seaweed farms. And I think I'm going to pull them in a bit from the corner. I'm not going to do them on the direct corner here. I could face this one inside. Yeah, facing it to the inside is going to be better. Because I don't need this net extending out into the dead zone over here. That means that more of these seaweed fields are going to be able to hit that net. Do I need to turn it twice? I don't... Maybe I could. Okay, so I had it placed like this originally. This was turning once, this is turning it twice. This is still hitting all of them. How much more does that extend my area down here? Okay, so this hits... This doesn't. This would, and it would pull back. And it should hit my other 2 farms as well. Okay, I'm all right with that position. Then we play this one. Oof. Actually, it's this block of wood in front of it that's stopping me from cinching this guy up closer. So I don't want him to rotate 2s. I want him to rotate 1. So this is the original placement. We rotate him in 1. Play him. We make sure that seaweed fields can sneak underneath, and they can. We then play our next seaweed farm as close as we can beside it. And we play this with a neighborly for an extra 24 points. All right, and then with that, we want to make sure that all of these are in range of both of them. So this guy is, which is, that's great. That is amazing. Because it's like the farthest away that I can put one of these pieces, and it's just barely taking both of those nets. Like if it was any further back, like even, let me unlock it, like this, then they're out of range. So that right there is perfect. Couldn't have asked for better. We just need to make sure that this 3rd seaweed farm is going to be able to be hit by that guy in there as well. So 1 sustainable gets used on him for 48 points. And we rotate him towards the middle if we can. Okay. That feels good. If I rotate him out, yeah, he doesn't push in quite as much. Let's see if this is still going to be in range of that last guy. I doubt it, but there's a possibility. Okay, now the problem becomes these three guys are pretty far away from this back wall. I mean, they still fit. Oh, no, never mind. It's more than enough space. We're good. Now, does this guy hit all three of them or just two? Can it hit all three of them after snapping? No, this one is a little bit too far away. I think if it were like here, it could snap. So I'm going to try angling this guy in some. Twisting him and then placing him. Need to get one of our sustainables. All right. And then a seaweed farm that gets placed there. I don't think that's going to cinch into place is the thing. I don't think it's going to snap. Okay, so one of these seaweed fields is not going to be able to hit all of my farms. I just have to, like, take that blow. It's fine. It's one of the doubles. It's not one of the triples. It's still worth more points. I don't think twisting it in is then worth it. I don't think we need that extra ground. I guess I can test it on other angles. So let's get this seaweed farm in here. If I play a seaweed field over here, yeah, it's not in range, but if I were to twist it, it probably would be. Same with, like, over here. Okay, so I am going to twist that guy. Seaweed farm. And now it's this feel like it's further in range. Yes? We'll run with it. We'll run with it. We'll need to bounce that wisp. I would like to play this one as my first seaweed field, but I can't. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Because this seaweed field is not going to be hitting this seaweed farm, I can place this seaweed field first and then this farm. This gets double points from these guys. This farm then gets an extra 4 points off of this placement. So this is worth 4 more points if I do it in this order. Here, and then a sustainable on this one. Okay, and then from here, we just place whatever fits the best. So this one, I would like to hit all 3 of them. If it doesn't, we're waiting for a 2 slaughter to fill in this gap so that it's pushed up a little bit further into the other guys to be able to get triples. So then this fits. I would like this to be, like, taken up by smaller things, but it just fits so nicely. I'm going to take it. We've got a twofer, so now this can be played on this corner, and the triangle, like, its center is slightly further out because there's, like, an extra hexagon of space out here. This guy can basically be pulled further into this wall, which lets me hit this 3rd seaweed farm for more points. Rotating it in any other way is not going to make it close enough, so we just have to play it like this. I would have liked to have played one more over here. We might get lucky and get one of the corner pieces that wraps around this wall. Yeah, to be played, like, right here, like this, for 33 points. Which then means that, let me just play this somewhere where, okay, so I wanted to wrap around this wall, so I don't want to take up this hexagon of space. Which means that I can play here pretty safely. Then we have one of the wraps to go around, oh, it was wrapping around this corner. Okay, so I do have this hexagon of space to take up. So I can do this. Can I wrap around this hexagon? Nice, okay. So we wrap here. Can this one be a big placement? Or a triple placement? No, no. Oh, yes, it can. It just needs to snap in. There. Well, barely any snapping, but this fits perfectly around this guy too. Wow. I got lucky with these seaweed farms for sure. I would like to play this closer in. Is that gonna snap under the farms? I want to zoom in further than this, but I can't. And I can't push it up any further, but that's just lost space. I guess this is fine then. I have another 7 farms to place. Can I get all 7 of them in range of all 3, or should this one be placed? I guess I could... No, I can't look elsewhere because I need to bounce this wisp. I need to keep moving out from this wisp into other locations. This guy doesn't get close enough. Could we get this guy to get close enough to hit all 3 of them? No. What about you? This works, and then I would have a twofer slotting out of this. This 2 slot doesn't look like it has enough space to, though. Maybe if I get this in there, it'll snap into location and get, like, pushed underneath this building. Yeah, I'm fine with that. And then this doesn't have to be a 2 slotter. It can be this 3 slotter. And we have 4 fields to place on the backside. And hopefully all 4 of the fields will be in range of all 3 of them. I think I'll be cutting it close. These are worth an extra 2 less because of the docks. I just have to eat those negative points. Because this is also the dock that I had to, like, start all of the wisp bounces into. Okay, it looks like I was a bit greedy on my seaweed fields. I don't think I'm going to be able to get these last 3 fields around all of them. If I had a 2, I'd be in a much better position. Yeah, because the second I place this guy here, then placing 1 further out doesn't work. I want to wait for either a triangle or a 2. Let's dig to see what our next piece is. I can always undo that placement. So the next placement is a triangle, which I actually can't push up any further into there. So I think this corner piece is going to have to be cornered to the outside like this to give us the most room to work with. Feels odd that the dock takes up that much space, but it does. Okay, we might be missing out on 1 seaweed field's worth of points, because this guy doesn't hit. I mean, I can get a double set of points over here, and if I'm... Oh, I can get a double set of points over here as well. If I get lucky enough to find a 2x1, I might be able to get, triples on this side. So let's dig. Not lucky enough. Can I get triples on this side? No. No, but this is worth more points, and a fisher's going to be able to pull this back into range. Can I get triples any other orientation? Nothing? Nothing. Do I use a shrink here? What other building would I want to shrink? I guess I would have wanted to shrink this one to get 2 more down the backside, and now that's not worth it anymore. I could shrink a brewery to make that easier in the future. I'm not going to use a shrink here. If anything, it's only worth an extra 8 points. So this guy has to... I need to play him back here, actually, to make him continue to bounce the wisp to get a worthwhile amount of points. But this one doesn't ever get in range to be able to bounce the wisp, and I can't undo this guy to try to, like, push him up further anymore. Ah, that's my bad. Okay. So, one of the seaweed farms is double, like, it's worth double points, but it doesn't bounce the wisp. And there's nowhere else I can put this. There's... Never mind, 19 points. Okay, and then this one picks up the as many seaweed farms or fields as it can and farms at the same time for 26. Okay. We placed all of our seaweed fields, and now it's time for our fishers. Our fishers, it's some pretty worthwhile fishers, especially with sustainable, allowing the wisp to be bounced between all of the fishers for, like, more points. Like, this first fisher is not the most worthwhile fisher that I'm going to place, which feels odd. I didn't check to make sure that a lighthouse could fit up here. It still does. Thank God. Okay. We're seeing 78. Now I can do the calculation on this one easier. We're going to place a harbor over here, and that's going to be in range of them. Hold on. That's what the shrink was being used for. Oh, I almost forgot. Okay. The harbor still fits in here. We're fine. We're fine. So a harbor gets placed for this lighthouse that is starting at, what's that, 78 points? 78. 88 plus 5 fishers for an extra 30, so that's, what did I say? It was 78 now up to 88, so it's 118 on this lighthouse. Is there anything else that scores it more? No. So 118 is our maximal scoring building currently. Our warehouse over here is sitting at 87. If I play another, what is it? 4 fishers, and then I play, hold on, let me go back to my route. It was 4 fishers, 2 warehouses, and then back onto a fisher so I could get it onto a lighthouse afterwards. Right. And I need that fisher to be able to do so. So that means that 4 fishers can go down before this first warehouse goes down, which means that this first one could be worth 87 into 24. It's 90. It's 111 points. So it's 111 versus I think this one was 118, right? I'm going to run with lighthouses being worth slightly more. Okay, so I don't need to score multiply my warehouses. I need to score multiply my lighthouses. After playing all of the seaweed fields, we're at the point where we play fishers. The first fisher doesn't use a sustainable, and the next 4 afterwards do. We play them in the center of both of the lighthouses, taking as many fish as possible, and where all of the warehouses are going to reach them. So this warehouse will just barely reach that one. This one might not, actually. So if any of the fishers miss warehouses, that's minus 6 points. So this fisher here for 43 or 45, if it's worth 39 over here, it's equivalent. This is worth 41 over here, so it's like, this is still fine. I would like to grab that last fish, but I don't know. It might not be possible. I guess I can grab the 43 pointer here. Okay, we'll start with this one. Then we use sustainable on all of our future fishers. We've got 48 points. Now, do I want to duplicate one of the warehouses? My warehouse number 1 was worth 111. My warehouse number 2 is worth 95 if it hits all of the fishers in the docks. Hold on. I guess I wasn't taking into account the wisp bounce. So the warehouse and the lighthouse are basically the same amount of points. Warehouse number 1 goes down here. Warehouse number 2 goes down here. Warehouse number 3 goes down here. This is going to be worth 39 points at base if I get all of my fishers in range. Okay, so sorry, not 39 points. This is going to be worth 50 points at base. If I get 3 more fishers in range, that's still not worth it compared to a mill or brewery, even like a bad mill or brewery. So that means that I can play a fisher in this pocket right here. If the dock will let me. Right, because I had to play my dock, or my seaweed field around this dock. Okay. I'll play the 52. I'll see if both warehouses can be placed in range of this guy. Warehouse number 1 just barely makes the cut. Warehouse number 2 does not make the cut, so we do not place it there. $46 points. It looks like 48 is going to be our max that we're going to be getting on all future fishers. Even if I were to play them over here, yeah, they don't get any better. Okay. Alright, before I place my 5th one, I need to remind myself, I need to save a fisher to get the wisp back onto it. So now is when I play my warehouses. This is worth 116. This is worth... $98. Ooh, I guess some of the rays are being blocked by some of the fishers, so this might be worth a little bit less now. 98 plus 10 to get up to 108 with a harbor. Plus an extra fisher to get up to 113. Oh, but this lighthouse is not going to get the wisp. This lighthouse is going to get the wisp. So this isn't 113, this is 108. So this warehouse here, for 111 points, or 116 if I'm lucky enough to find it, is going to be worth slightly more. So this is the one that we use our score multiplier on. I want to take score multiplier off just to see like what the base score of it is. 116. Is there any way that I get more than 116 points here? I think this is hitting actually every every building that it can, except for the seaweed farms that I've placed so far. No sawmills, no mills, no breweries. Okay, 185 is our maximum. We play it as far up and to the right as we can to save as much space for the next warehouse that we play. We play you. And then we play you for 91. I feel like I've messed something up. Do I have extra boons to use? No. I've got all the wisps that I want to use. So then next is my lighthouse, right? No, 2 warehouses into a fissure into the lighthouse. So the fissure goes down here, but it needs to be sustainable. The fissure can go down anywhere now, anywhere that gets it the most points, which I can't place it over here. That's going to block the harbor. So I guess I can tuck it into here, where it was worth 59 before. It's also worth... Oh, man, I messed up. There's some fish down here that I could have placed them on for extra points. The extra fish here. It's like all of these 57 worthwhile point, or all these 57s could have been 59s, and still probably in range of both the warehouses. I'm only losing 6 points overall. Hopefully that's not the difference maker. This challenge is very tight, though. Very, very tight. No, I guess if I placed them down here, then this lighthouse wouldn't have been in range of them. And that's losing out on more points. It maybe could have been. In range of them, I mean? No, because it has to be on this edge to make sure that it's not in range of this lighthouse for minus 40 points. Okay, so these fissures are still better. Was that... There's a 61 in there. Okay. Then next up is lighthouse number 1. Bargain it, lighthouse number 2. Our pyres, our lumberjacks, our whatever else afterwards. Okay. Let me just double check my list to make sure I'm not messing up on anything. Fissure into lighthouse that keeps Wisp in range of where the pyre is going to go, which is over here. $92 feels like the best that we can get, but I need to make sure that it's out of range of the other lighthouse. And I can't greed too much because there's no way for me to like, wait, no. We play a fissure into the... Did I mess up on when I needed to play the harbor? No, because the harbor comes after the warehouses, right? Wait, the harbor comes after the warehouses. I could have played one more fissure. In my list, I have 5 docks into harbors. Oh, no, because I thought that I was playing the harbor to bounce the wisp onto the seaweed fields from, and I forgot that I could do the same thing with the docks. Harbor's out of place, so I need to change my list there. Instead of playing the 4 fissures into 2 warehouses, it's playing 5 fissures into 2 warehouses into a harbor to ping the wisp back off of the warehouses onto the aquatic buildings, because then the lighthouse can pick up the wisp from the harbor. So now we go shrink building and we place our harbor. 120 points. This could have been the building that we score multiplied, but it's it needs to be shrunk to... I guess it doesn't need to be shrunk to be placed here, and I could have deleted this fish now because there's nothing else that scores off of fish. I guess this 117 is like chump change, like the difference of 4 points between this being worth like 113 compared to this being 117 is nothing. We would have saved on a shrink boon, but it's fine. So a 120 point building here. And then lighthouse number 1 goes down here. We just really hope that this guy isn't going to be in range of the other one. 101 on this corner. If I can play this, yeah, this can be played really far out. So I don't think I need to be worried about it. Like, worried about them crossing streams. Okay. We play the harbor. Let me get rid of the fissure that I have here, and then lighthouse in range of the pyre, and then bargain the lighthouse. So we play this one for 101 points, because that's the max that we've seen for it. Yeah, and I don't want to wiggle to try to find a better spot. Okay, now with the lighthouse there, and the wisp on it, we bargain it to get a copy of it, to get another building that scores 100 plus points. This is the building that we got 100 plus points on. And then we play a pyre up in this corner and lumberjacks that connect to the pyre. Now, I need to remember where the pyres are being placed. This pyre needs to make sure that it can tag this one over here, so that this range increased one down here is also in range of them. So playing it on this corner isn't close enough. Playing it a bit further in is. Still grabs the wisp, but then all of my lumberjacks... Okay. If I get rid of one tree, how many points is that lost? It's just one per lumberjack, so every time I delete a tree, it's 5 points lost. If I play a pyre here, that feels good enough. And it doesn't delete any trees. I'll double check that it doesn't delete any trees in a bit. So with that pyre there, we can make this connection at max range. With this connection at max range, it picks up all the lumberjacks that are going to be in front of it. And then the range increased pyre is going to hit that one up there for max points. And maybe this one over here as well. If I pull it further down, that's in range of too many of the fields. It's too close to the statue. So I will eat some of the points on this guy. If I wanted to make this one, or sorry, no, it is gated on this guy being in the correct position. Like this pyre doesn't matter as much with this range increased one compared to this guy for scoring. Which means that I need to push this pyre up as far as I can, like on this stone, which this guy just barely is in range of, or just barely isn't? Just barely is in range of. Okay, so I can get that done. Worst comes to worst, I just play it here. Okay, with this pyre in a good position, we just need to make sure that none of the lumberjacks are going to stop that line of sight. The line of sight is roughly here, which means that one of these lumberjacks could. Not going to, but could. So we need to test every single time. Okay. Okay. Where do I get the most points for lumberjacks? 58 was on this corner, and I remember playing them around here was worth the most. I think I might find a 59. Okay. We're locking in that pyre position. Before I lock in that pyre position, I want to double check that I haven't, deleted any trees. Just that pumpkin there. Okay. Pulling it slightly forward this time so that this connection is easier to make. Yeah. And then that one's still going to be fine. Now we play it, the lumberjacks. We had a 59-point position before. I'll try finding it again. I think it was this right here. And that should leave enough space for my sawmills, 1, 2, and 3 to be placed around them. So this one is also worth, this one is worth 58 points, I believe. Just 5 less because, or 4 less because of a lumberjack being close by. 55 is fine by me. We're going to hold down C when we do this. The lumberjacks, do the lumberjacks lock to each other's positions? I don't think lumberjacks snap. Yeah, okay, that didn't delete any building. We're looking for things around 47 points. Okay, 48 is our max. 49 is our max. Is there any spot near the fringes that gets those numbers? 48 on this side? I think I'm only going to get 149 on this side. Yeah, and there's nothing further out that scores that high. Alright, I would like to take a 48 position and a 49 position, if possible. I'm fine with taking this lumberjack here, and then I know that this is a 48-point scoring position, and this is a 48-point scoring position, which are the same as anything that goes further down here. But I want to make sure that all these lumberjacks are in range of this pyre all the way back here, which I forgot I need to walk it up a little bit to make sure that it hits these lumberjacks. So the more lumberjacks I put out here, the less points this range increased pyre is going to get. Correct? So like it hits for max points here, and there's no way to get it to hit for more than 34 points. And playing it all the way out here, I still have a bit of wiggle room to be able to get 1 or 2 more lumberjacks in, so I don't really have to be worried about playing the lumberjacks out here for more points. If anything, it loses me like 1 point, maybe an extra 2 points on this, 3 points total from those 2 pyres being closer, but I'm getting those points back from getting better lumberjack positions here compared to playing them for like, yeah, less over on this side. This is also a 49 point scoring lumberjack. Or no, sorry, it's a 40. Wait, am I? I don't care. I don't care. It's a high scoring lumberjack, which is what matters. And then we play one last one over here. 38 is our maximum. If we delete a tree, 40 is our maximum. If we delete trees at this point, we're fine. We do play a sawmill before this, though. I do remember that. We're just going to see if there's a lumberjack position that's worth more than that 40. 38 here is all right. Nope. Okay, so it is just this 40. And there's no way to be able to save that tree as I get to 40. No. By the time that I do, I'm outside of the range of the other trees that I want to be in range of. Okay. So now we play a sawmill that is going to not delete any trees and be in range of the next lumberjack that we play, which will be this guy. And then this sawmill is out of range of them, this sawmill is out of range. Oh, I forgot to check. Does this... Right, this pyre doesn't need to be connected to this one to get the points. It just needs to be connected to a lumberjack. But it's still good that it's connected to this one, because that's an extra 15 points that I'm not losing. I just forgot to check it. Because like if the wisp gets stuck back here and there's no way to get it out, then I'm screwed. I'm missing out on 100 points on each the wheat fields and the hop fields. Because... How many points is like the max here? I forget what it would be after placing down the sawmill. I guess it's an extra 5 points because of the sawmill. So 45 is our 40 from before. So we can play you safely. And then we play the pyre over here. Please tell me I still have my range increase. Okay, good. Didn't get used somehow earlier. I guess the guild hall doesn't need to go down yet. I'll be able to find a spot for it that gets me the 36 points. Yeah. Okay. The pyre goes down for 53, as far away from this island as it can. Alright, and then after that wisp bounce happens, we can play our sawmills, deleting as many trees as we want. Which, yeah, it doesn't delete many, but doesn't matter. Okay, so then after those sawmills, we still have the ability to see this pyre, right? From the range increased ones. Increase area. So we want to walk this up to make it see all the lumberjacks. So right there, 100 points. Can I make it worth any more? 101. 102 is our max. But if I played out here, then more hop fields will take it, because my hop fields... Okay, let's math this out. We've got 2 wheat fields that are going to be placed here. 1 and then 2. This guy is also going to be played on this edge of the statue to get those extra 5 points, which means that our wheat fields start being played... Let me zoom in. So wheat fields maximum range is like right here, I guess. I'm fine with locking in all my building positions. I can play this and then try to size things up. I can undo that wheat field. Okay, so with that wheat field there, our hop fields start getting placed here, which means that they're only going to go further out, which means that this pyre is actually going to be like, it's going to see multiple hop fields if I let it, which I don't want to have happen. This is going to be my like line of hop fields along the edge of the statue. We're going to build out from here. Then I have like one brewery tucked back here, two out front. The mills get built around it. So with all these hop fields getting placed here, multiple of them are going to tag this pyre. Rough, but we'll deal with it. We'll manage. Best case scenario, I could put the pyre over here. But then I'm not getting as many points from the increased area boon that I use on it. I mean, okay, it's a loss of... It's not a loss of many points, actually. Okay, so this would be like on the edge of the hop field radius. We get 91 from it, because we're tagging the lighthouse all the way over there. We can take 92 points. Compared to 101 back before, that means that 4 less hop fields need to tag this one to make it be worth it. If I play the 101 pointer back here, do I think 4 hop fields are going to tag this guy? Let's play it and see how many hop fields would tag it. I guess. Okay, so it's worth 100. It's not going to hit the other... Yeah, it's not hitting the other lighthouse, so I can't get it worth an extra 3. Let's play it for 100 here. And then our hop fields. To be in range of both the pyre and the statue at the same time is impossible, actually. So this 100-pointer can be hit by 1 hop field to begin with, and then I place a bunch of them afterwards, and they're only in radius of the statue, not of the pyre. Which is great. It would be perfect if I could get this in range of both the statue and the pyre at the same time, but that might... Okay, it's not too big of an ask. It's not too big of an ask. This guy was worth 100. We can make it worth 101. There. And then this now is in range of both of them. And the hop fields that we place next are not going to be in range of the pyre. Okay. Now we need to make sure that this hop field is not going to mess up any of the wheat fields. I could place one of my wheat fields early to get 5 less points because there's not going to be a wisp bounce onto it. But it could guarantee that all of my hop fields are like lined up as closely as they can be to the statue, and that my wheat fields are going to be like placed properly. If I get one more hop field in range, that's an extra 4 points on the statue, and it almost makes up for the wisp bounce. If I get 2 extra in range, it is worth it. I think I might spend a turn to make sure that my wheat field is placed properly, which means that I need to place one right along this edge and make sure that I can like fit one in between these two here. I'm looking at my buildings and I was thinking, how do I get my wisp to bounce onto my wheat fields and my hop fields again? And I forgot that I have the precious to do so. Okay. Okay. I guess I could also use my guild hall as like another intermediary building if things get dicey. To be able to get the wisp to bounce where I need it to after like combining it with precious. Okay, I can always undo this building if I need to. This is where the hop field is going to be lined up. Which, let me just make sure that a wheat field fits in here, and then some, which is nice. Let's see if this is lined up well to the statue. I think I should place this a bit further to the left. Because, yeah, this is going to cause the wheat fields to pull too much in, and I want to have these guys pull slightly. I guess I don't need them to pull slightly into the statue. Yeah, this works. This works. Yeah, because then I get to play 1 here, 2, 3, 4. This becomes 5 because it snaps down. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Wait, is there 3 that are played along each side of the statue? There's 3. Okay. So it's a group of 6 here. It's a group of 6 back here. It's 2 extra in the middle for 14, 15, 16, and then 17, 18, and then 19? I think that's how that works out. I think I can fit 19 wheat fields around the statue. We'll see. I might be able to, do some snapping shenanigans to get all 20 to fit in there. But that's for later me to figure out. I'm fine with that wheat field placement. We now start with the hop field placement. Now, because the wheat field is locked in, and I know that it's locked in, I should play one hop field out front here, and then make sure that another line can fit back here. To do so, I think here is where I should place it. I want to try getting it as far out as I can, so that I have enough space for the hop field to fit lengthwise in between these two guys. And there isn't enough space for it, and with that wheat field locked into position, I can't pull it in anymore, which I could have done. Or I could make this one lose out on the statue points. Okay, but if I make this one lose out on the statue points, the other ones that I want to place near it are also going to lose out on statue points. Do I play one row of hop fields like this, straight across, and then fill up the next gap with straight guys? Or like lengthwise guys? A few of them in the middle being straight up and down? I guess that works. So then the first one is not a straight up and down here, because this never fits, right? If I had this snap into position, it could snap into the wheat field, and then this one, the wheat field could be placed down afterwards. So I need to place this guy a bit further back. It's not going to get statue points, but everybody else around it is going to get statue points. I guess multiple of these hop fields are going to be hitting this pyre, because I'll be placing a few more down here. At least I think. What if I just don't have the first one snap at all? I just have it placed like this. This one might actually snap into the wheat field, which would be great for me. And then this next one could be placed... I guess it's not far enough down to hit the statue. This is. It's minus 2 points on the pyre, but it's still worth more points overall because it's hitting the statue. If I place this one lengthwise instead, that means that I could play you a little bit earlier, but you're still not out of range of the pyre. So I think I do want to play you in parallel. You snap to the middle. You don't snap to the middle. Okay, so because you don't snap at all, I want to be able to make sure that you get... Wait, if you don't snap at all, then yes, this is as far in as you'll go. Yeah. Yep, and there's no wheat fields that go out any further than this. So now I just play a line of hop fields here. It feels scary to just, like, rip the line of hop fields. God, I'm supposed to make another 1,000 points off of all of this? Or not another 1,000. What is it? 1,700? Did I make mistakes earlier on? Is there something that I'm missing? I guess maybe the wheat fields will amount to a lot. Like, it is just the straight path that I need. Right here is where it gets broken, so I could, after this hop field, after these next two hop fields, play some down here. But then they're also not getting the points from the previous hop fields, which I would want. I think before I mathed it out to being that, like, hop fields, yeah, they can only see, like, 4 of each other down the line. So, like, here, this is no longer worth it for me to play more hop fields out like this. I should start playing more of them down here. Okay. Okay, let me play this slow so I don't have to do this again, so that I get the record and I can be done with the Industrious challenge. How do I get the most points out of the hop fields? If I play them lengthwise like this, it hits all of the previous hop fields, and then I would play more back along them. What hop fields would I be playing in the future? Well, I wouldn't be getting 4 points off of the statue. Which... Is that a problem? What makes it worth more? If I play them like this instead, that might be better. And then my last line of them is one that goes thin, because so I've already played 6 hop fields. I play another line of 5 hop fields back along here, and then I capitalize off of that line by playing another, I guess it's just another line of 5 out front. And then the last couple are odds and ends, like this might be able to fit in at the corner to hit everything. The Pyre's going to be worth a lot more minus points than I thought. It is only like 1 less hop field out of everything. It's better to have the Wisp bounced over here, but it might be a bigger negative than I thought. Placing it in this corner is probably better. Yeah, because I was thinking about like only placing down this line of hop fields, not the lines of hop fields that go further out from the statue in the future. Okay, hold on. With this wheat field, I could play a hop field over here, and that's out of range of... Well, it's going to be out of range of all the hop fields that I'm placing further and further out, too. How about I start instead by playing one that isn't in range of the Pyre right here? This is like being in range of 1 extra hop field, so I think it's worth it. And I think there's just enough space for, yeah, a hop field to duck in here, it feels like. So then I should continue this line at least 2 long so that I can place 3 hop fields in front of it. It is taking up more real estate by the statue. Hold on. Does this actually hit the statue? This doesn't. So playing them lengthwise is actually better because it also gets me more points by them hitting the statue. This guy does snap out a bit. So that means that I want to... Well, yeah, okay. If we're playing this properly, we want to line this guy up with where he was before. But we hold down C to make sure that he doesn't snap out. And these buildings are slightly placed over top of each other, so I'm saving like a hair of space. I make sure that this still has enough space to slide an extra hop field down. There is some extra wiggle room here, which I don't exactly like. But then this one gets to be a little bit further in. Sure. Don't need to hold down C anymore because it should snap to this guy's grid, which is already pushed in. I guess I could be holding down C to make sure that these guys overlap. I could have been holding down C on all of these guys to make sure that all of them overlap a little bit more so that this guy on the end maybe tagged 1 extra hop field. It might have been able to tag this guy if I had held down C on all of them. Okay. Then this one here. Can we get it in range of the statue? If we can't, I'm going to undo the last one. Alright, I'll take it. I'm not going to fiddle around with it. Okay, so this is worth 28 points. We're also getting 28 points out here. So this one is fine because then all of these guys in the future are also going to be able to hit this hop field. Do I want to have them extend out straight like this so that I have space for 2? Yeah, I think that's better. So 1. And this one, it's hard to say. I think by the time I get here with my wheat fields, yeah, this one isn't in range of the statue. So playing another hop field that sticks out from here isn't going to take up any of my wheat field space. And this one snaps out, which we don't want to do. We want it to be tucked into the corner as much as it can be. So we hold down C to stop snapping, and... Any further up? No. Right there. Okay. Now they're slightly ajar to each other. As you can see here, there's a small gap, which means that these placements in the future can get just a little hair closer, if that ever makes the difference. Even in range of the Pyre, these guys are worth the most, so I'm not going to care about the Pyre anymore. I should care about where my breweries are going down, because they'll be worth a lot of points. We'll have one go down here. We'll have one go down in the front here. The, what is it? Wall going over... Yeah, the edge of the brewery going over the cliffside for a bit. And then we can have one more here. This works. Okay, so we don't go any further with hop fields in this direction. And if we play any more, we can, or if we play any more on this line, we could only play 1 hop field in this space, but I don't even think I'm playing a hop field here. Would I? It's worth 28 compared to 32. This will be saved for the end. And this brewery over here gets all of the hop fields. Yeah, and it's not going to be in range of this guy. Okay, so 1 brewery, 2 brewery, 3 brewery. Can I see what my mills would look like? Should I, like, intentionally leave space behind for a mill? I think I can put one here. I can put one here. Isn't going to be great. Okay. 1 mil, 2 mil, 3 mil? I guess this one would have to be pulled out some. That might not hit all of the fields, but it's not going to be the -20 from down below. Then we double up on one of our mills in this corner. Yeah, it'd be 1 and then 2. And these are definitely going to hit all the fields. Okay. That's the line. So I didn't want to play a hop field here. Let's move it up until it's worth 32. We lock it in. That doesn't snap anywhere. That's a good thing. We check with our brewery to make sure that it hits all the hop fields still. That's a good thing. We can play outwards some more, because I don't think this brewery is going to get... Yeah, it's not going to be hit by it. It's not going to reduce its points. And then the final brewery that I play is going to be over here, so that this wheat field here can tag the statue and the brewery at the same time with a precious. Yeah, this brewery out here is going to be too far away. Okay, so let's just like double check that this is going to be close enough. I can always undo this building. And we can slide it up quite far in this direction. Really far in this direction, actually. Which means that a wheat field that I place here, oh yeah, is very easily in range. Okay. I guess I play one here, I play one lengthwise, I play 2 lengthwise. Sure, and I'm not going to worry about holding down C to snap at this point. I think the benefit is so minute that I'm not going to be hitting more hot fields because of it. I do need to remember to save enough hot fields to be able to bounce my Wisp around to my other breweries. Do I need to bounce my Wisp on all of my breweries? I don't believe so, because my breweries tag hop fields for +5 points. My hop fields tag breweries for +4. So if I play a hop field after a brewery, it's -1 point. If I play a hop field that isn't going to be in, like, if I play a brewery too early and it doesn't tag a hop field, like, okay, how do I explain this? Let's say I play a brewery over here, and then my last 2 hop fields I play right beside it, so that it tags it for points. That could be worthwhile to like bounce the Wisp onto it. But if I play a brewery and then a hop field over here that is outside of its range, because it doesn't get the +5 points, the like Wisp bounce does make up for that, but then I'd have to bounce the Wisp off of the brewery onto another one by tagging one brewery with another, and that's -11, which I don't want to do. This is the best hop field so far. I'll take the like best hop fields that I can as I get them, compared to placing them in like spots that feel like they're fine but don't offer me as many points. 38 here is good. That snaps out. This is maybe where I should have taken care to make sure that they don't snap out. Maybe. We're going to make sure that this brewery isn't blocked off. It just barely has enough space, so we can no longer play a hop field here, even though it's worth a lot. We could end up playing this brewery. So we play like brewery 1 right here. And we play brewery 2 right here. Can both of them be in range of all of those hop fields? Yeah, if we play it like this, it's not going to be in range. We don't have our shrink available, so that's not going to be able to save us any space. It's feeling like more and more of those hop fields at the end were too far. That I should have built for... Hold on. How much was this one worth? Because I could... No. If I demolish the hop field, then all future hop fields and breweries don't score off of it. And it's not worth as much. Because I was thinking I could demolish this hop field and then move everything up a bit. This brewery tags everything still. Okay, so I've got 2 spots for breweries over here, which means I only have to fit in 1 over here, and this can easily hit all of the hop fields. So I have infinite space to build outwards here with my last 4 hop fields. With my last 3 hop fields, and then I place 1 brewery here, and then I place what is it? Another hop field in the center, and then 2 breweries, one of the breweries tagging the other for only -6 points instead of 11, because it's bouncing a wisp. And then I precious the wisp onto the wheat field and go from there. Okay, 36 points everywhere. Everywhere that I want to place wheat or hop fields. Okay, let's start with this side then. Then we're looking at 40 points. We're looking at 38 if I play this one first and it snaps back. We're looking at 42 points here, 40 points here. If I rotate this in, it's still 40 points. Okay, so it looks like 40? Maybe I can get 2 42s? 42 number 1. Nope, it's just 40s. Okay. Wait, I only have 2 hop fields. Let's backtrack that one. This is 38. This is 38. This is 40. Let's play our best ones first. This brewery is still going to be able to hit all those hop fields all the way out there, right? It hits one of them. It's not going to hit anything further out, which I'm not going to place anyways. Not any better out here. I'm fine with this. And then this brewery here, yeah, still easily hits it. Then we have a 40-pointer and a 40-pointer. This could... No, it's not ever going to be worth 42. Okay, there's our last 2 hop fields, which means that I play this one here, I play a brewery, I play this hop field to make sure that it tags that brewery, 2 more breweries. So, number 1. This guy still fits in for 42 points. Good. I'll play this brewery, and we're going to back it up some, so that it's going to be out of range of the other guys. But still in range of wherever this hop field goes. 46. So this is worth 37 here for right now. And that's 46, which is plus 7 for... Wait, 37? Yeah, okay, so this is just 37 plus the brewery points. So this does the exact same thing. Okay, so I could have gotten more points out of my hop fields if I had moved these 2 hop fields into this position right here, and then probably one more position right here. So you want to make a grid of basically 5 by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that 6? It could be 6 by 3 then, instead. Okay. Okay, if I have to run it back, it's 6 by 3 that I'm building next time. Brewery number 1. Getting 113 points, just like the warehouses. And I can't save a duplication for these guys, because it'll be worth less on the wisp points and a lot of things that I don't want to think about. Yeah, you guys don't go any further than this, which means you're never going to conflict with this brewery placement here. Okay, now the moment of truth. If this doesn't work, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I've seen this before, where a pyre that doesn't normally score off of something can use a precious to pull the wisp off of it. But it just feels risky. There's the wisp. There's the wisp. Okay. To start building my wheat fields, I can have this one hopefully snap to the outside. Might not. We'll see. It does. That's huge. That's massive. Okay. And then that means that all of these ones are also going to snap to the outside. You're telling me that all of my wheat fields and mills have to be worth 1,000 points. I don't think they're worth that much. I think the wheat fields are worth like 600 by the end of things, and my mills are going to be worth 90 each. I still have a lot of space on the inside. Don't need to worry about that yet. I should play from the outside in. I can't play one more down here. This is me losing space because of that rock. Maybe I can shove it underneath the rock through snapping. So let me undo this piece and put this field inside of the other one by holding down C so it doesn't snap to the same grid. Which, yes, I definitely should have been doing that before with this field right here. Snapping, like pushing inside of this field here. So now this one seems like it has enough space to snap in to that rock, but it won't. Can it snap up? Can't. Okay, well, we're going to be losing a bit of space here, but I can make it up elsewhere. I could start playing this wheat field. Work from one side to the other. Now this wheat field is slightly pushed into the other two, so it saves on space. We do the same thing here. And then one more time. Come on. There we are. Saved on a minute amount of space, but that might be the difference maker. This is not going to be able to snap inside the statue, and that could save me more space overall if I leave like a pocket of air inside of here to push the wheat fields into the statue. I don't think that really matters, though. Yeah, especially with this still not even like being in line with the statue yet. I'll be fine by placing it here. Yeah, because if I make even like the exact same setup that I did on this side, then I only have 2 more wheat fields left to place, and it's just one here, and they're fine. Which means that more of these hop fields can be closer to the statue next time. If I miss this by like 20 points for my hop fields not getting enough points on the statue, it's gonna be hard to like have to run it back, doing all of this over again. I've got a better intuition built up. It's just gonna take another 2 hours. All right, I'm going to math it out from this wheat field on. This is worth 34. The next one's worth 36. They're going to be worth up to 20 points. I just need to add 10 points to this one and then multiply it. So these are going to be worth 440 more points, which means that I get to 4,029 points off the back of this. 4,029. I would need to get 300 points for my last buildings, which I've got 3 mills, which are worth 90 points each, plus a guild hall, which is worth 30, so that's 300 total. But I've got to duplicate here, which means that I get another 70-point mill, which means that I get... This is world record? I think that's world record. Okay. Let's worry about mill spots then, so that I hit all of my wheat fields like I'm expecting to. So this one is going to hit all of them, which is good. We cannot play one in range of this brewery, which means that I have to play one down here, which is going to be in range of these mills down here. Okay, so if I play this one back here, it's worth an extra, or minus 36. What about demolishing? What could I demolish to be able to fit a mill in where I need to? Not one of the... One of these wheat fields is only minus 8, and I can pull this mill further back, but I need to make sure that there's enough space back here to play a mill. I could delete this guy to make sure that there's enough space back there to play a mill. So like instead of playing one here, and it's in range of this guy, if I play one back here, it might not be. It might be out of range of some of these wheat fields, though. So I should start playing wheat fields higher up, so that I have this as an out. So 1 mill here, 2 mil here. If I get rid of this hop field, actually, that might save me more space. This hop field? No, no. It's this brewery that's messing things up. If I pushed this guy further back, got like 5 less points or 10 less points off of these guys, I'd have the perfect space for a mill right here. But I don't. And using a mill for minus 40 points over there, while it still is worth it to like get a... It's not overall worth it. It's a positive gain of points of placing a 70 mil in this location compared to, what is it, the minus 40 points from the brewery, but it's not as much as I want it to be. I could alternatively do 1 here, 2 here, and then 3 up here, where that hop field is. Is there any way that I get 4 around all of the spaces? No, because like this one down here is going to be missing out on these wheat fields. So if I play 1 here, 2 here, yeah, I could never play 4 or 3 and then 4. It can only ever be 3 around these. I have to triangulate the position. So 1 goes down here, 2 goes down at the edge of this hop field, maybe missing out on 1 wheat field, 2 if I make a bad placement here, and then this guy goes in between those 2 down here. Okay, so now my wheat fields need to start playing from here and towards this side. One of these locations I'm going to double up a mill on so that instead of it being worth 90 points, it's worth 70. We're going to hold down C to make sure that this is cinched in as much as it can. And should I pull back, actually, into this corner? Okay. I think this is only worth 4 points, right? I think I should just demolish it now to know exactly what my bound is going to be. Never thought I'd be using demolish in this challenge. Yeah, it's worth minus 4 points. That's chump change. Okay, we're locking in that destruction by playing a mill over here to see how close I can get this one. Let's play like it back here. I'm gonna undo this mill, do not worry. This one can hit all of the wheat fields, that's good. And it leaves enough space for me to play a mill here and a second mill here. So this is where I double up on my mills. If I'm doubling up on my mills there, I can also bounce the wisp between them. So that's nice. Okay, so we undo that mill. This wheat field here can still be seen by the mill that's getting played here if it's about like halfway through the other guy. So I'm going to play it there. If it snaps, it's fine. This guy still sees all of the wheat fields there. Yeah, that one loses before this one gets lost. And then this feels like it's too much to pull into the statue, but we can hope. Oh, actually, I move this one out a little bit so that all of these wheat fields can get pulled into the statue. Yeah, because I can't play over here because it's not going to bounce the wisp yet. Yeah, that's too far in. So we go a little over halfway, a little out. Like there. Then that might also not snap through yet. Okay, so you can line this up by wheat fields will roughly snap about a quarter of their position. And a quarter of their position is where one of these like lines are. So if I were to place this wheat field, this one right like here is going to snap out to match it, placing it along this line. So if I play it about here, that should snap into it. I'll play it a little bit further out just to make sure that I have enough space saved. Actually, why am I saving space on this side? Why do I need to? I don't. I should be saving space only in like this direction. Yeah, I don't need to be saving. I don't need to be snapping into the statue. That's not space that matters to me. This guy goes away at the exact same time as the other one. Okay, so that fits. That works for my purposes. Then when we play one over here, then I'll start making sure that like these wheat fields get played as tightly as they can. And then hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If I snap these guys in, I guess this one is still going to be in range of both of those guys. It's fine to be. And these wheat fields, hold on. These wheat fields are going to be in range of the mills down here, and mills score 4 points off of wheat fields instead of wheat fields scoring 5 points off of them. So I want to play these wheat fields at the end, especially because it can bounce the wisp back and forth between them. Does this wheat field? No, it doesn't reach it. Okay. So I want to play 1 here, and then 2, 3 in the future. Which might not be possible. Yeah, it's not going to be possible. This one would be possible to be played, but that might be out of range of this mill up there. I'm trying to decide if I want to place it directly in this corner and follow it up with one of these guys here, or if I want to play this slightly inwards. I guess playing it slightly inwards, I can play this one here, and that saves me enough space to do what I want. Okay, we play a wheat field here. I can then start building out from, like, this corner downwards. We play 6 fields in this pocket back here. We then play 1 more field here. Play a mill in front of it here. We play the mill 2 over here with another wheat field going down in this location. Puts all of our wheat fields around the statue, and we get to bounce the wisp from this mill onto this wheat field onto this mill. I need to double check that this mill can be played in front of this wheat field, but I need to, like, lock this one into position if I'm going to do that. I guess I can see where this one lines up. Let's play it halfway. So, like, this. Is there enough space for a mill to be played here? Yes. Does this mill pick up on all the wheat fields? Drops that one a bit early, but if we pull it down, I think it's fine. Sure. I'm gonna call it fine. A little bit further in. I guess even holding down C will help move it a bit further forward, which will help with that guy. And a little bit further off to the right than what I think. Okay, so it's slightly pushed into that guy. Now this one should have enough space to... Yeah, it definitely looks like there's enough space to place a mill here and a mill here and not have the 2 mills interact with each other. Okay, there's enough space to put a mill down here. There's enough space to put a mill down here. I could get 1 extra point by playing these wheat fields later. No, because I need this wheat field to bounce the wisp over. Okay, with how these guys are positioned, I'm going to line this one up exactly with the statue. I can put this guy into the corner as much as I need to eventually. Then from here, I play out all of these guys. I play my... Yeah. I'm overthinking it. I'm overthinking it. Okay, now these wheat fields are going to be in range of both of the mills down below. I can play one of the mills for right now and get more points off of these wheat fields. We play this one first, we play this one second, because this one can always snap back a little bit. So we play mill number 1. Wheat field 1 is in range, wheat field 2 is in range, wheat field 3 is in range, wheat field 4 is... We can pull it down to be in range. We could also pull this guy up. Yeah, I can pull this mill up. So it can be here instead? No, because if I pull it up, then it might be in range of these guys. I can test. I can test. So we want to do something there. And now this guy is able to tag all of the wheat fields before it hits that mill, which is good. This guy is able to tag all of the wheat fields before it hits that mill easily. This guy can tag that mill, and the other 3 are going to be able to as well. Okay. We play you in range of the statue. We play you in range of the statue. We play you in range of the statue. And we play you in range of the statue. Alright, to be able to duplicate, to get my extra mill, I should place my guild hall down first. Where's my guild hall going to be best? 24 points over here. Not worth any more over here, even if I get a mill down. Worth 28 on this corner. Could be worth something out here if I had a plateau somehow, but 38 looks to be the best. Which would be here. 36, my bad. Sorry, guild hall. And then we duplicate. Now the wisp, it doesn't matter which one of these it bounces to, because I'm not going to bounce it to more than one of them. I want to get this guy placed down first, so that I can place the other ones around these two. Because there's only, like, I'm not going to be able to micromanage this position, except for the 1 extra point for 79 here. There we go. And then this one gets 86 points. I thought it would be worth more. I guess it's missing one of the fields down there. Okay, so I might want to move it closer to the right then. And this guy, yeah, can get everything. Okay, let's actually play this one first then. 96, nice. Oh, that's not... okay. This guy might be missing out on 2 fields worth of points. So I guess we might have to play him, this one first. Okay, so that misses out on 3 fields. This misses out on none of them. If I rotate you in, you can tuck in a bit closer. We want to make sure that you hit 95. You? Miss out on 1 field if I do this? Let's line you up from this side instead. It'll probably be easier to feel like I'm pushing it to position than rather than pulling it. I think that's just missing 1 field, is it not? That's missing 1 field. Okay. And then this one we place there. Oh my god. Okay, it's over. Oh, is that 4,400? I think it's just before. I think it's just shy of. It's 4,400. Wow. What a run. Yeah, okay, good. I'm not mistaken. I thought that this might have been like 99 or something. That was a fight. That was a challenge. The only way that I think you can score more points on this is by getting more naturally spawning trees, by managing your hop fields slightly better, by moving your harbor to be placed in a bit of a different location, or getting more fish around where your docks and your fishers go. So like my harbor was out of position 1, it was placed in at a poor time. My fishers, all 5 of them could have gone down, and then my warehouses and then my harbor. What my fisher not being placed early here was a loss of 8 points. It's a loss of 8 points, but like that can matter with how close these scores are going to get. My seaweed fields, I feel like with how tightly packed everything out here is, this side is perfect. This dock right here is the only thing stopping it from being better. I lost 2 things on one of the seaweed farms. Like this was 8 less points than it should have been. This was 8 less points than it should have been because it didn't take all 3. So that means that I'm minus 16 here. At best, I could have placed 1 other seaweed field out here to have all of these guys take it one more time and then not have done this. But I think this is still like, it's so close to perfection that I don't want to say that I like lost points on the seaweed fields. I don't think I lost any points on the masons, the brickyards, or the sand pits either. There was enough sand for like all of them to trawl for almost every single one that they could have. Maybe I lost like 4 points overall from like not trawling enough sand, but I actually don't think I did. I lost points on. I don't think anything else down here. The fish for the docks and the fishers, but that was already said. By the time we got up to the lumberjacks, I maybe could have placed Bergers better to get like one more tree or like 5 less points off of a flower, but like they're already so hard to place that I'm not gonna be micromanaging myself for that. My pyres though, this one, it only hit one of my lighthouses, so this could have been worth 3 more points. This could have been worth 3 more points. And I think this one hit both the lighthouses, so it doesn't matter. So it's a loss of 9 points overall from hitting lighthouses, but it does hit all of the lumberjacks, and I did get them almost all to be like as pulled out as they could be. This one is maybe losing like 5 to 6 points on it not being far enough away, and this one I think was the exact distance away that it needed from this one. So like pyres, I lost maybe another 20 points on. The hop fields, maybe if I move these other two up, everything scores off of them, and it's worth like, I don't know what the math is going to be on that, like an extra 20 points. The wheat fields and the mills feel like they were played perfectly. The duplication on the mill, though, only nets me 70 points. I feel like a warehouse down here could have been worth the same amount, and if I planned around it a little bit better, like moved these docks down instead, the warehouse could have been worth more than the mill duplication. I just would have had to say, I would have had to save one of my warehouses for a duplicate by the end of things, and that is a loss of 5 points for bouncing the wisp, and it's a loss of points on the harbor. So like, you have to make sure that your warehouse is 10 more points worth than a mill. I think in a perfect world you duplicate one of your breweries instead. This is worth 110, this is worth like near 100. This one could be worth 110, and one down here could be worth 100 if there was space for it, which to get like a perfect statue. Oh, right. I also lost probably how many hop fields would have tagged this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Probably lost 20 points on this pyre position instead of moving it up. So in a better world, these pyres would be pushed further to this side of the island so that your pyre with increased area can be on this side to still tag them for max points, but only be hitting like the corner of your hop field setup. If the statue was also moved back further in the island and this rock wasn't here, that could have been another way to do it. I think like the maximum amount of points that you can get, 4,500 on this challenge. But that requires such control and such an amount of resets to get the proper amount of like trees, fish, and the setup for this, and to not do any mistakes in the run, that like I'm not going to go to attain it. I don't think anybody's going to go to attain it. I am very happy with 4,404, and I think that's going to be a, like, even with people seeing my run and being able to like replicate it to a T of like watching it on a second monitor. Okay, so he places the masons first, and then he places the brickyards, and like following themselves and not making the mistakes that I do. I think it's still hard to beat this score, honestly. All right, gotta end the journey at some point. Another one down. And that's one of the hard ones too. One Tree 2 puts up a mean fight when he goes for challenges. Yeah, like the difference of say like 30 points of like getting one extra, how do I put this? The difference between my score at 4,400 to somebody else's score at say like 4,200, or like even down here at 3,600, like this, how do I put it? This feels like such a small increase. This like maybe 5 to 10% bump. But the difference of, what is it, an island that looks like 4,200 and an island that looks like 4,400 is, I don't want to say imperceptible. It's very hard to judge. Like this island at 4,200 could have been played in the exact same way. They just had less trees, so their lumberjacks were worth less. You know, well, I guess if they had more trees, say that's worth an extra 10 on each of their lumberjacks, that's worth an extra 50 points overall. Yeah, like re-rolling to get a good island, even though it is the difference maker here, it is like a difference of 50 to 80 points, which feels so minuscule, man. I don't know. This is one of the challenges where it feels like it's easy to get to a score of 4,000, but anything beyond 4,000 is just so much more work than the rest of it. Okay, that does it for today. I'll see you guys around.